To come out today?
Because we want to support our teachers.
What do you know about this rally? Why was it so important to you to support these teachers?
Because they need more funding.
Why do you think that?
Because they're special.
Awesome. Do you have a favorite teacher you want to give a shout out to?
Miss George.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And are you mom?
Yes.
Awesome. So why did you decide to bring the kids today?
Well, I'm formerly a school employee. I'm a school-based speech pathologist, and teachers are, they're the backbone of everything, and, if we don't support them and don't teach our kids, what values that we carry as a family and as a community, then, that's just part of their civic duty. So we're kind of doing a homeschool day, if you want to say that, even though we go to public school and we fully support it, and this is just our way to support people and friends and family that we care about. So,
what do you hope comes out of today?
I just hope that the bigger pictures are seen as far as what the teachers are really here for, that any of this partisan business is pushed to the side, and ultimately the teachers get the support that they need to fund their classrooms, to support their students, with ancillary services as far as counseling, psychology, therapies, and that basically at the end of the day that they have what they need to meet the students' needs.
And what school district are you guys in?
They attend Forest Pines Drive Elementary up in Raleigh.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much and have fun today. So as I said, this is going to be huge. Like I said, there are tons of families here. There are teachers here. There are other educators. I also saw a bus driver. She actually had a school bus poster board that she created as sort of an outfit. There's a lot of quirky signs, of course. You see those, especially with these educators getting very creative with this. Now, again, the actual march isn't supposed to start until about 10:30. They are expected to make a few remarks before they head off and head to the Capitol. Now, keep in mind that this is going to take about an hour, so if you are worried about any of those road closures or anything, those are up on abc11.com, and we're going to be following along with them the entire way. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you so much, Anna Rivera.
All right, and again, we have a team of reporters throughout the downtown area covering this march. Let's go to Elena Athens. She is live for us also in downtown. We've got Elena. She's in a position where she can't talk to us now, so let's go to Gloria Rodriguez. Gloria, where are you?
Yeah, right now I'm at Halifax Mall, and of course this is where the teachers will end up for that rally. So I want you to get a look right now because it's very quiet right now. There are no teachers here just yet, except those who are kind of helping out with the organization. But if you look around, you'll see that it's pretty much, for the most part, empty right now. But later on, this is going to be a totally different situation. This is going to be a sea of red with the thousands of teachers who will end up here for that rally. So it'll be interesting to see how it looks later. But right now we have Lee Elrod, who's here with us, and she is the wife of a teacher. So I know that your husband was in education for many years. What is the main reason that you are here rallying today?
To support the teachers and support staff for pay equity, for the resources that they need to be able to support our children. Kids are the future, and we need to support them. We need to support the teachers, and so we're out here to help them.
Tell me a little bit about your husband, Steve. I understand he was a teacher for more than 30 years. Tell me a little bit about his experience teaching.
Well, he started out in the classroom, spent many years there, and then went up through the administrative track, ended as an assistant superintendent in Georgia. And then we moved here, and he went back in the classroom because he felt like his education and his experience were needed to support the children, support his colleagues. And so even now that he's retired, we continue to support education.
How do you feel that we rank here in North Carolina when it comes to teacher pay compared to other states around the country?
Oh, I don't think we're where we need to be at all. And I think that we absolutely need to have the legislature behind us supporting the pay equity and figuring out where those funds can come from to be able to support teachers.
And I know many people here today have signs. You have a sign. Tell me a little bit about your sign, what it says, and kind of what it represents.
Well, teachers can't survive on apples. Just to really emphasize the inequity in pay for teachers who are shaping our future and need to be making more than what they make now.
And Lee, it's very hot today, so those of you who are going to be coming out, just be aware it is very warm and it's still pretty early today. So does that bother you at all, the heat today?
No, it's important for us to be here.
Thank you so much for your time, Lee. And you saw Lee is wearing red, as so many of the teachers and those rallying today will be wearing. And then behind, yep, there you go. You've got your red on. I also wanted to check out behind, Sean, if we could look over at the stage. They are getting that all set up right there. They're getting the sound system all ready. They have some bleachers there. And so they are getting set up for that rally later on today, where they will have speakers talking about why they are rallying, what it is they want. And then, of course, all of the teachers will be here. And then some teachers will also go into the legislative building, and they'll be talking to lawmakers there. I was talking to somebody on the way to the General Assembly earlier who said they are preparing for a very busy day there. As many teachers as can get in, we'll be doing that a little bit later on this morning. So we'll stay here at the mall. We'll bring you the very latest. Back to you in the studio.
Gloria, thank you.
And we continue our live coverage now. Amber Rapenta is right outside the Raleigh Eyewitness News Center on Fayetteville Street. Amber, I remember last year seeing that sea of red make its way down Fayetteville Street. It was quite impressive.
Yeah, last year, John and Barbara, the estimate was about 20,000 people that came down here, as you mentioned, in a sea of red. And we are seeing a lot of those folks donning their red for us this morning. Red for Ed, of course, is the hashtag that is trending right now on Twitter. And a lot of people are carrying report cards showing which legislators are supporting NCAE priorities. A lot of these shirts, too, on the back, you can see it's time to use our outside voices. This is the Durham Association of Educators that will be marching for the Bull City this morning. While all of these people are advocates and they do have their priorities laid out of what they are hoping lawmakers what they want lawmakers to push to achieve, it's more support staff, Medicaid expansion, a $15 minimum wage, to reinstate retirement health benefits. I know that is a huge bone of contention with a lot of retirees that say that they were promised that and it was taken away. Also, they're asking to restore advanced degree compensation. And while those are the key points, we should also point out that some House and Senate Republicans rolled out a web page just before this rally highlighting some of their key numbers from recent education budgets. They do want people to know that they are hearing them and they are trying to make those changes happen. Also, the average for teacher salary for 2018 to 2019, they say, is $53,975, and they are working now to listen to all of these concerns. John and Barbara, we also talk about the thousands and thousands of advocates that are here. There are also some people that are opposed to this march as well, and the advocates are saying to those people that if you aren't supportive of this or you think that change doesn't need to happen, they're urging them to volunteer in schools to see what they really have to deal with. But their voices, no doubt, it's very hard to ignore when you have, as you said, a sea of red that are going to make their way down here through Fayetteville Street and take their concerns straight to lawmakers. I know that Governor Roy Cooper is expected to speak to them. Also, the Reverend William Barber at 12:30 this afternoon. But this is just thousands of teachers, support staff, education advocates. They are headed to the Capitol. They're going to go right in front of our studio here on Fayetteville Street. And this is not just from our area, of course. They are from all across the state. We saw buses coming in this morning heading to NCAE headquarters, dozens of buses. And this year, the number that we're up to is 34 districts that closed in 31 different counties. Last year, it was 115 school systems. The estimate was 20,000 people. So we are just here as they are prepping. Many people are walking down to the staging area. I believe that's where Anna was earlier this morning, where they're going to start their march together with the signs. And the hashtag Red for Ed is now trending as this is about to get underway. But we'll be here through every step of this march, and we'll keep you posted, and we'll try to talk to some of the folks that are taking part, John and Barbara. But you know, as I said, it is really hard to ignore when you have this many people and just a sea of red flooding the streets of Raleigh headed down to Jones Street.
All right, Amber Rapenta, live outside on Fayetteville Street. Thank you very much. You're looking at live pictures now from Chopper 11 HD as these marchers continue to gather.
All right, and we also have a team of reporters out along with Amber Rapenta. We have Elena Athens, and she's out. Are you, Elena, are you on Fayetteville Street? Where are you?
I am at the start of where this march is going to be stepping off. That is going to be stepping off very shortly. This is the intersection of South and Salisbury Streets. Let me have the shot pan over so you can kind of get a look at the people here. There are a number of banners lined up in unison, several people converging on this one particular spot. There is a little bit of a prep going on, pepping up the crowd right now. One of the organizers pepping up the crowd right now as they get ready to step off for this march. You can hear some of the excitement going on here just as folks have been up since early this morning getting ready for this march. It has taken months and months of planning to get to this point where thousands of people are not only descending on downtown Raleigh but getting ready to march and rally for what they hope is change. What was rather interesting is just a few minutes ago I had met with Durham's Teacher of the Year, and in speaking of the demands, the 5 demands these educators and their advocates are pushing for, I learned that educators voted on these items, these line items, during the NCAE conference during the summer. So these teachers, there was about 1,000 teachers who got together. They voted on what issues they felt were most important for the session, what they wanted to bring forth to legislators. Among them, a higher minimum wage, which would impact bus drivers, cafeteria workers, several of staff members who do work in schools. So they gathered and they voted on this in unison, what they decided to push for. So we are expecting this march to get underway rather shortly. Let me see if perhaps I can speak with one of the teachers here. Where you teach at, ma'am?
Well, I just do substitute teaching.
Substitute teaching.
I'm a former newspaper reporter and I do substitute teaching, and teachers are the most important people in our culture if we want to have a future.
What does it mean for you to be here today?
I stand in solidarity with teachers, all of them, full-time teachers of course, but if we don't have teachers, if we don't do this, we're gonna sink in ignorance, and we can't allow that to happen. We have to support teachers, we have to support education, and with it, we have to expand Medicaid because sick children don't learn well.
You had mentioned that you're a substitute teacher, which means that you bounce around to a bunch of different spots.
Well, I'm right now just at one school, and I've just started doing it. My granddaughter is a teacher, and she talked me into doing substitute teaching. And it's such a great calling.
Well, thank you for allowing me to stop you real fast. I know you were on your phone. Thank you for your time. So let me see if I can take you through the crowd and kind of show you a little bit of what is going on here. We're seeing a number of signs such as this one, 2 years for my associate degree. So you want reinstated. Among the many, there's 5 demands. One of the demands is for reinstated compensation for advanced degree.
Yes.
How would that benefit you?
Well, I'm actually an instructional assistant, but it will benefit a lot of the teachers that I'm working with. There's many teachers right now who are not going to go for their master's degree because they're not going to get compensated for it. And it's a lot of work to be a classroom teacher now and then go in the evenings or take classes at night, and to do all that and not receive benefits from that in terms of increased salary is very difficult. So I have a master's degree myself. I'm an instructional assistant, but I think it's important that we do that. We also need to raise instructional assistant salaries as well, because we do so much in the classroom to help the classroom teacher as well. So it's going to benefit a lot of people. We have people who are leaving every day in Wake County because they're not getting the support they need in the classroom. They're spending their own money, and so I'm here today for the second year to support all the people who are here.
I want to, if I can, get your response to State Superintendent Mark Johnson's statements about today's rally. He said teachers should not be out here. They should remain in the classroom. What does that mean for you as someone who works in these schools, in these classrooms, to hear the state superintendent come out in opposition?
It's disheartening to me as a teacher, and all I can say is I feel strongly. I've lived here. I came from up north in New Jersey and Connecticut, and when I moved down here, I was horrified at what I was seeing in the schools. I saw a change in the 90s, and now I feel like we've kind of gone backwards. So there's no choice for me but to be here today and to support everyone who's here. I just can't say that strong enough. So I'm in disagreement. but I have, as you can see, all my fellow supporters and teachers here, and this is, it's what we need to do.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Again, we are waiting for the march to step off here at the intersection of South Street and Salisbury Street, so that should be happening shortly. We're going to send it back to you guys in studio, John and Barbara.
All right, Elena, thank you.
Well, last year for the big rally, it rained off and on, and some of the participants got drenched. This year, no rain, but it is going to get hot out there. Meteorologist Don Schwinneker is tracking how warm it's going to get. Don?
Well, John and Barbara, we are continuing to see those temperatures climb, and I think as we go through the rally today, we're seeing temperatures in the 60s and 70s. By lunchtime, that noontime rally, 81 degrees, and then by 2 o'clock this afternoon, we will go 83 degrees. As a matter of fact, in Raleigh and Wake County today, we're talking upper 80s by this afternoon. I think it's going to be a very warm day across the region. Live look into downtown Raleigh. The teachers, they're right about there, a little east of there, south of there. Temperature right now 73, dew points at 65. That's 76% humidity on a west wind, 9 miles per hour. Now, we're seeing a lot of sunshine. We did have moisture in the air. We had, as far as the day went, we did have, I'm going to have to step off camera for a second. My clicker has stopped working. We did have plenty of clouds working through as we headed through the morning hours, and the weather computer is completely locked up. We'll continue to see those clouds working through with the sunshine as we go through the afternoon and on into the evening hours. Temperatures today expected to top out in the upper 80s across much of the region, and as we head into the afternoon and evening, we'll see those numbers continuing to climb. I think the rain will stay away. Unfortunately, there's not much else I can show you on the weather computer right now because it's completely dead, but we will see as we go through the afternoon those temperatures upper 80s, lots of sunshine. I think the biggest problem for the teachers will be between about 2 and 4 o'clock as they try to disperse out of downtown. They're going to want to have lots of water. Those temperatures climbing, the humidity's up, and this is that first real long stretch of warm air. So even though it gets a lot warmer around here in the summertime, when we get that first stretch with all the humidity, that can take its toll on people as well. So definitely going to watch that thermometer as the temperature climbs on it throughout the afternoon. We'll keep an eye on that, and we'll have an update for you should those temperatures continue to climb as we go throughout the broadcast. John and Barbara, I'm going to send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Don.
Thank you, Don. All right, well, we know some teachers started to arrive as early as 6:30 this morning here in downtown. There will be a pre-march rally at NCAE headquarters from 10 until 10:30, which is started already for everyone to get organized and energized for the rest of the day.
A march to the General Assembly starts at 10:30. It'll go till noon. Then there's that rally at Halifax Mall from 12:30 to 1:30. Following the rally, educators will meet with their legislators. Buses will depart from the NCAE from 3:30 to 4:30.
Well, the teachers will march right past the Raleigh Eyewitness News Center here in downtown Raleigh on Fayetteville Street. The route of the march will be similar to last year, beginning at the North Carolina Association of Educators headquarters on South Salisbury Street, right down Fayetteville Street, around the old Capitol building and down Bicentennial Mall toward the General Assembly, which that can take about an hour. Now, many streets may be clogged during the march and rally as teachers, parents, and students arrive and depart from downtown.
So Kim Diener is monitoring things to see if there are any traffic issues. And of course, we have those road closures, Kim.
We do. We have road closures. Parking decks are getting to full capacity at this point, and it's really busy on all of the arteries leading into downtown Raleigh. This is Chopper 11 live over downtown Raleigh, where you can see it is a sea of red shirts as people are marching and making their way to the stage for the rally later on this morning. We'll continue to see more folks there. I know Gloria Rodriguez was in one location, I believe, where they're going to actually have the rally, and it was empty. So that means these folks are on their way there, and still more folks trying to make their way into downtown Raleigh. It's slow going, and it has been for the last at least hour into an hour and a half. So most of the time we worry about all the roads leading out of downtown Raleigh, but today it's the roads leading into downtown Raleigh where we have the problem. So let's take a look at the roads you're going to need to worry about. These are going to be closed on and off all day today during the entire rally. Fayetteville Street, Edenton Street, Jones Jones Street. Now, sections of these streets are closed, not the entire street. Morgan Street, South Street started at 8 a.m. this evening. Many of them will reopen by 5 p.m. I mentioned earlier, I've been following on Twitter about all of the parking garages where everybody should park. Many of them are reaching that capacity mark. So if you're making your way into downtown, most of the ones that are still open are off South Wilmington Street. That's Davie, Martin, Hargett, and Morgan. Those are the streets off of South Wilmington Street where you will be able to find parking, at least right now. And if you're coming in, you haven't left your house yet, I-40 East to Hammond, you're going to take exit 299. You're going to pick up Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. And at that point, you're going to pick up South Wilmington Street. That's going to take you into downtown. Back to you.
All right, Kim, thank you.
All right, well, as you saw in that picture from Chopper 11, the marchers have begun. Let's go back down to the ground now and talk with Anna Rivera at the NCAE location at the starting point. And I believe, Anna, you're walking along with those marchers.
That's right. We are walking as they already just took off, but we're on Fayetteville Street in front of the Marriott. We're making our way toward the Raleigh Eyewitness News Center. This is the very front, and of course, this is a long line of educators. You can hear them chanting very loud. Thousands of educators are here right now. So, who are you guys? What school are you from?
We're with Nash Rocky Mountain Schools.
Are you a student?
No, I'm a teacher.
Sorry, you look young. So tell me why you're here today.
We're here today to get more funding for our schools. We're here today to fight for better pay for teachers and support staff, for better resources, for nurses, social workers, all the resources that our students deserve.
Why did you decide to make the trek all the way to Raleigh? Why was it so important to not let this go?
It's important for our people in charge to know that we're going to be voting in the next election.
What does your sign say?
It says, you can't put students first if you put teachers last.
Explain that to me.
That means that if we are last in pay or close to it, then we don't have the resources to support ourselves so that we can support our students.
What do you hope to accomplish today?
I hope that our voices will be heard.
And how many years have you been teaching?
This is my 5th year teaching.
So is this, obviously this is your passion.
I love it. I don't want to do anything else.
I think, explain to viewers why you're passionate about something when you guys aren't getting the resources that you deserve.
Somebody's got to be passionate about it. And if you have the people who are passionate about it in the classroom, voices will be heard.
Thank you so much. I think that's the case with so many of these teachers out here. They're saying that they just want to get what they deserve. You can hear the band playing. This is a full-on production. We're coming up to the Raleigh Eyewitness News Center, and we're going to be marching along with them for the rest of the day. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Anna. As she continues to walk, let's go to Amber Rapenta. She is outside on Fayetteville Street. Amber, they're coming your way.
John and Barbara, I'll apologize in advance. It is about to get very loud in front of our studio here. We have a marching band leading this rally as they make their way down Fayetteville Street, led by one of Raleigh police officers there in one of their cruisers, also on bikes. And you can see they are waving flags, they are carrying signs, they are spreading their message of what they would like to see changed in the North Carolina public education system. Now the push that they are hoping to achieve has 5 goals. More support staff, Medicaid expansion, a $15 minimum wage, to reinstate retirement health benefits, restore advanced degree compensation. Those are some of the key points that they hope are taken away from this march today. On the eve of this march, House and Senate Republicans rolled out a website that highlighted some key numbers from recent education budgets, which they said are addressing some of those numbers in pay and increases in pay. And we have all of this information up on abc11.com. Now, as far as the day goes from here, this is just one part of the day for these thousands of teachers and educators and support staff and really just advocates here. They are heading down to the Capitol, and we are going to hear from Governor Cooper at 12:30. Also, the Reverend William Barber will be speaking at 12:30. After that, after the speech at 12:30, the NCAE has organized county delegation meetings for members to connect with legislators and to talk about what their demands and their points are from 1:30 to 2:30 before this all wraps up and gets back to normal here in downtown Raleigh. But here's the crowd. I'm going to let you just take a listen. Is what they are chanting as they pass by our Raleigh Eyewitness News Center here on Fayetteville Street. The hashtag Red for Ed is also trending. Now these are of course all of the supporters and the advocates, and this was really behind this for the NCAE. And we have been pointing out that there are some people opposed to this rally. Some are calling it a strike, and that would be Senate Pro Tem Phil Berger specifically saying that the NCAE is calling on teachers to strike despite historic increases in teacher pay. But I will tell you that there are people that are having signs that say if you believe that they have increases, then you're sadly mistaken. So there is a big debate here on differences of opinion when it comes to what is being passed and what it's like and what it's not. And I will say that all of the advocates are saying anyone who is opposed to this march, they are encouraging you to volunteer in the schools so you can see what it is like. The State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Mark Johnson, also is down at the Capitol, and he supports the teachers rallying, but he had concerns about it being on a day that would keep students out of the classroom. But you can see the sea of red here now making their way down Fayetteville Street as thousands take part in the Red for Ed rally headed to the Capitol. John Barbara?
All right, Amber, thank you for that. We'll continue to follow this. Also, now we're going to go to Gloria Rodriguez. She has been in Halifax Mall all morning while this is underway, talking now to the state superintendent. Gloria?
That's right. Right now we have Mark Johnson with us, the Superintendent of Public Instruction. So Mark, first of all, I know that you're very focused on what happened at UNC Charlotte yesterday, and you said that you have some meetings concerning that today. Can you tell us what you'll be doing regarding that today?
Yes, obviously everything has to stop when we have such a horrible tragedy. It happens not just in our state, but it's a tragedy for the nation. And what we're really concerned right now is the more information we find out about this suspect, the more it seems that there weren't warning signs, and that's very concerning. So we are going to be sending out a message to all educators today with some of the tips of how you can spot these issues, reminders of what we sent out in the past, but we need to always be vigilant. And then we're very happy that in the most recent budget proposal, not only are they continuing the school safety measures from last summer, but they're actually increasing them and putting in more money. So top of mind today is that tragedy and, of course, how we can make sure that does not happen in one of our K-12 public schools.
Of course, our hearts go out to everybody who was affected by that tragedy. Now, when it comes to the teacher rally, I know that you have made some statements about the rally. So what is your stance on the teachers rallying today?
We absolutely support teachers. We are working hard to increase teacher pay, for example. The average teacher pay is now $54,000 per year. The median teacher salary in North Carolina is more than the median household income in North Carolina. That's a good start. We need to continue being more aggressive, and we are. We're seeing that in the NC House budget proposal that just came out. But we're also doing things for teachers such as reducing testing and getting more money out for classroom supplies and textbooks. I could not support the organizers of this protest. This is not about teachers, it's about the organizers. I could not support them choosing May 1st, a day that causes schools to close, because it has such a ripple effect in our community. One, students miss instructional time, and I know especially in Wilmington and the surrounding area, they can't afford to lose that time. They already had a month off away from school because of the hurricane. But it also is about students' nutrition. Some students need school nutrition to get the nutrition they need during the day, and it's about parents. I'm blessed. I have a daughter in our public schools. We have been able to find childcare, but there are other parents who aren't able to, and they miss out on a day's worth of work. All of this happens on a day to close schools when this could have been just as impactful, just as much of a statement had it happened right after the traditional school year ended. All the General Assembly is still going to be here in June. This could have happened then.
What about those who say that the teachers did it today because they want to make a statement? The fact that schools are closing, it makes a bigger statement that they are here. What about those who say that?
I do believe that just teachers showing up and saying, we are here, have our voices heard, I believe it would have been just as impactful had it happened at a later time when school is not in session. And quite frankly, is a little unfortunate to hear that there are some people who want to close schools in order to have that impact. This is not about closing schools. This should be about teachers having their voices heard, which I know many teachers are here for that. Again, this is about the organizers selecting a date that was picked to close schools.
So we had the rally last year, thousands of teachers showing up here and all saying that they want better teacher pay, they want more resources. Has anything been done here at the state level to help teachers?
Absolutely. We're continuing to be aggressive on teacher pay. You just saw in the NC House budget that was proposed just yesterday that we will be restoring master's pay. That's one of the proposals. That's not just to show appreciation, it's also to recruit and retain teachers. But also it's more than just the pay. We are investing millions in school safety efforts. I'm giving out grants to school districts for school resource officers, for mental health support professionals. We're getting that money into the field. And also I'm very proud of our accomplishment to get more money in this budget for classroom supplies. Teachers should not have to reach into their own pockets to buy classroom supplies for their students, and we have millions more in this proposed budget for classroom supplies and an innovative program that would allow hundreds of dollars to be under the direct control of teachers so they can buy what they want when they need it.
So do you feel that these rallies do make a difference when it comes to lawmakers making decisions about teachers, about schools?
I think these rallies make a difference when people turn on the TV and they see teachers coming out to have their voices heard. But when it comes to the policy discussions, we're already responding to the needs of teachers. I mean, we are working hard every day here in Raleigh, and you saw that the budget proposal actually came out even before this rally is occurring, and it's a good step in the right direction for our teachers and for our schools.
So as far as immediate changes for teachers, do you feel that the budget is going to be the main thing as far as differences that teachers will see after this rally?
Yes, and I want people to know it's not just about the North Carolina General Assembly and their work. We are also doing things from the department, such as reducing testing. We know testing has gotten way out of control. It's taking too much of teachers' time. We are reducing testing, and we've got those efforts well underway, and we'll see even more aggressive reductions to testing next school year. That's work that's going on.
We've talked to a lot of teachers who say, they don't have enough resources. They're paying so much money out of pocket for supplies. Teacher pay is down. A lot of it's not what they wish it were. A lot of teachers are working 2 jobs. Some teachers feel like they're not being heard. What message do you have for teachers?
We absolutely support teachers. We listen and we act for teachers. We have used the Department of Public Instruction unlike ever before to reach out and communicate with teachers through simple electronic surveys, but also through the Teacher Working Conditions Survey, which is a very long process that teachers took the time to complete, and we got record completion on that this last year. So we've listened to teachers and we're working for them here in Raleigh.
And you said you're not going to be a part of the rally at all today. Why is that?
No, I have not been invited to be a part of the rally, but it's probably because I told the organizers that I do not support it being on this day. And 2, I have State Board of Education meetings all day. So I've stepped out of those meetings right now to talk to you, but I need to get back in and do the work that I've been sent here to Raleigh to do.
Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you spending time with us today.
Thank you.
Mark Johnson, Superintendent of Public Instruction, and we are here at Halifax Mall. If you take a look over there, the setup is underway for that rally that's going to be going on later on today. So the teachers, of course, will march. They will end up here at Halifax Mall, and they'll have speakers up there. So we'll have the very latest for you. We'll stay out here, and we'll see how this changes when the teachers arrive. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Gloria, thank you.
And let's go back to the marchers on the ground now. Elena Athens, we just saw her as they passed by. Elena, give us an update.
Yeah, I'm farther south from Halifax Mall, closer to the Raleigh Memorial Auditorium, as this crowd clad in red shirts makes their way north to where Gloria Rodriguez is right now. They are making their way to Halifax Mall, where that rally will happen later on today. We're giving you a live look at some of the demonstrators as well as their signs. One person writing, "We need strong education." Another person writing, "Our kids deserve teachers and deserve master's pay." We're also seeing a lot of children out here today. Again, many of them are off. School districts closing so teachers could take part in this march and rally today. Those teachers and educators putting in for time off. So they are here on Fayetteville Street. adding their own support. Let me see if I might be able to speak with a teacher. Where are you a teacher at, ma'am?
I teach at Hope County Schools.
Hope County Schools. Can you talk to me about some of the struggles that you say you're experiencing in the classroom?
Well, for one, we only have a nurse 2 days a week, which is not good for the safety of our children and for the safety of our school. I haven't had a new textbook since 2005, and I'm a science teacher.
How difficult is that when you say you haven't had a new textbook since 2005? That is 14 years. How difficult
I have to rely on a lot of resources via the internet and from just talking to veteran teachers.
Roughly, what do you spend a year kind of bringing your class to what you want it to be?
Well, as a science teacher, I would love to be able to fully fund the labs that the kids need to really learn their standards. I want to have less testing because I could spend so much more time really going in depth with all of my students.
Well, thank you very much. I know I stopped you on the route to speak with me, but you are a teacher in Hope County. Says you have not had a new textbook since 2005. All right, well, thank you very much for giving me a minute to speak on the route. So let me see if perhaps there is a little bit of a slowdown here right now. We are at the bottom of this march.
Yeah, Elena!
Hey, how are you? How are you? Hi, guys, how are you? So let me see if we might be able to follow these marchers just a little bit as they do make their way north to the state capitol. They're going to then go around the legislature, end their march on Halifax Mall, where the NCAE will host a large rally. The program this year is a little bit different than it was last year. Last year there was a break in between, but the NCAE deciding to streamline things this year and have one continuous day of rally. If I might, ma'am, may I ask you, where are you a teacher?
Why am I a teacher?
Where are you a teacher?
Oh, Harris Creek Elementary School.
Harris Creek Elementary School. So what does it mean for you to be here today?
It means that I'm here for my students. I'm here for my personal children, and I'm here for education, for better education.
And talk to me about what class you teach and perhaps maybe some of the adversities you say you have in the classroom.
I teach second grade. And what was the other question? I'm sorry?
What are some of the struggles you say you're fighting?
We definitely struggle with class sizes. We definitely struggle with the amount of resources and materials that we have. We struggle with time management and not having enough time to complete the things that we need to do and being able to reach every student and what they have and what they need.
Were you at the march last year?
No, I was not.
Okay, so why this year did you decide to come out?
I was unable last year because I have personal children that I was taking to, and this year I decided because if I need to stand up. I need to show my kids this quarter. We were actually talking about stories about we do what we can, and if I don't stand up and do what I can, then I'm not showing my kids what it means to really stand up and do what they can.
All right, so thank you very much for your time. We're going to continue to head north with these folks as they make their way to Halifax Mall. We'll send it back to you guys in studio.
All right, Elena, thank you very much.
All right, and again, a lot of these teachers and advocates are trying to get their point across to lawmakers. Let's go to Jonah Kaplan, who's live for us now at the Legislative Building. Jonah, we heard an interview from Gloria Rodriguez to the State School Superintendent Mark Johnson, and he said the budget being proposed right now is a good step forward for teachers.
Yeah, Barbara, and that's the message here, lawmakers. But look now, here you see all these teachers descending onto Jones Street into Bicentennial Mall, and this is a perfect time for them to be here because this is when the budget is being written. House Republicans, Senate Republicans, the ones in charge here at the General Assembly, they're the ones that are deciding how, where, and when to spend your tax dollars at work. We did speak with lawmakers today, and the general feeling is, look, from Republicans, we are investing in teacher pay. Teacher pay has gone up every year, potentially for the last 6. Now, this could be 7 years. The governor's budget, which is proposing millions more, that would require raising taxes. That would require taking money from other programs that people depend on. So they say it's a balancing act. There's only so much money that comes into the state, and there's so many more programs, there's so many more issues that need to be covered as well, whether it's roads, infrastructure, or storm relief, that rainy day fund. Certainly that is a major priority for Republicans, and that's saving. But if you see behind us again, you could see all of these teachers ascending, and you can't see, I don't know from here, but some of the signs. to many teachers, we've been hearing this goes beyond teacher pay. There's been a lot of talk about salaries. There's been a lot of talk about the money that is given to veteran teachers, to teachers who've been there for a long time, to principals, to teachers that maybe have master's degrees. But several teachers we're hearing from are saying this is about also the school supplies. It's about school counselors, school resource officers. It is definitely a balancing act for lawmakers, again, as they try to use whatever money they have. It's important, though, to remember the context, though. North Carolina spends about $24 billion a year on a state budget, and that covers all sorts of programs. More than half of it, maybe close to 60%, is what's spent on education. That includes higher education, but nearly 60% of the entire state budget is spent on education. Let's see if, again, you can see and hear some of the natural sound, and I'll just let you take a look at these teachers now, again, descending on the General Assembly. Kind of a very festive atmosphere. If you remember last year, it was overcast, a little bit of rain. Here the sun is shining, you can hear the music playing. And again, it's very interesting to see how the message has kind of evolved. Last year, maybe strictly about teacher pay, but that argument not resonating as much because teacher pay is going up. It has gone up significantly in the past 6 to 7 years. So the narrative now changing from teachers. It's not just about teacher pay. It's about supporting the classroom. It's about fixing some of the broken schools, improving technology, more attention to some of the rural schools. It's interesting seeing some of the teachers here that are not from the Triangle. I mean, places like Harnett County or Moore County, or from some eastern North Carolina counties, some western North Carolina counties, not the Charlotte Mecklenburgs, not the Wake counties. These are the teachers who also really want to speak up. John, Barbara.
All right, Jonah Kaplan, live for us outside the Legislative Building.
And Jonah, if you can still hear us, I have to say that last year the Republicans lost their veto-proof supermajority. It came months after the first rally that these teachers had, so they got some attention of some people.
Well, they did, and that, John, is very important in terms of budget negotiating. I mean, look, let's go back to our government class. In order for any bill to be passed, you have to have the Senate agree on it and the House agree on it, pass, and then it's got to have the governor's signature. Prior to this year, Republicans had veto-proof majorities, so even if the governor didn't like a bill, Republicans had just as many votes to override that and put that budget into place. Now the governor has some leverage. The governor and Democrats have seats at the negotiating table, so there's going to have to be some sort of compromise. And we've seen in Washington, D.C., what happens when there is no compromise. There in D.C., there's a government shutdown. We don't have that in our state law. What happens if there's an impasse, then the last budget snaps right back into place, and that was a budget passed overwhelmingly by Republicans. So again, very interesting. Certainly, I think the teachers, their voices are being heard, but the ballot box ultimately, John and Barbara, as you just mentioned, that's where the voices are going to carry the most. It may not come with speeches like this. It may not come from rallies. It's can they harness that energy to the ballot box, and can they get a voting bloc to make the change there?
All right, Jonah Kaplan live at the Legislative Building. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jonah, for that perspective. We do have a poll that we're asking viewers and folks online. Do you support the teacher rally? Yes or no? And you can see right there that it's overwhelming at this point. 71% say yes, 29% say no. I know that we were talking a little bit about, and especially what the state superintendent said about not supporting the organizers on a day where school would be in session, to close school. I've read online some people who are expressing that this is politicized, and that they didn't think that it should happen on a day when some people that work at schools wouldn't get paid, or some parents would have to pay for their kids to have babysitters or to have care outside of school. So it's interesting to see, the different sides.
And you can express your point of view too. Just to use our ABC 11 app and swipe to vote. Again, 71% so far on this. It's an unofficial poll, but kind of gives you a view of where some folks are standing. 71% say yes, they support the NC Teachers Rally.
All right, and so this is really just now getting started at just about a quarter till 11 o'clock right now. Do we have Anna Rivera for us? Live now at the Legislative Building. I know that you were walking with a lot of those folks
Barbara,
as they got to the Legislative Building. What are you seeing now?
Yeah, so we've been standing here for about 5 minutes, and there's still a steady stream of educators going past the Legislative Building. So this is just how large, and the amount of educators, teachers, support staff. There's all different types of people that are involved with schools that are here today. Now, I do want to mention that, of course, you see all the red shirts. The hashtag is Red for Ed, but you may notice that there are some green ribbons that some of the teachers are wearing. Now, those green ribbons, they say that they're dedicating, let me show you, we have this right here. They actually gave me one of these. They said they ran to the store after the terrible tragedy that happened at UNC Charlotte overnight. They ran to the store to make sure they could get these ribbons in time, and they wanted to make these specifically to support the students and the staff all affected by that tragedy. They said last night, as soon as that happened, they ran out and they were making these overnight. They actually handed them to me this morning around 5 o'clock in the morning. They said they were just finishing them up. So they said that this march is dedicated specifically to the students of UNC Charlotte. So even though you can see all the red, you'll notice they are wearing these pins as well. Now, last year we saw about 19,000 educators come out to this march, and they said they are expecting more here. They're making their way to the lawn now. That's where they're going to have the rally part of this march. They're all going to have, there's going to be a lot of speakers that are going to talk about what they're standing up for today. They gave me a list of 5 points that they're focusing specifically on, including they want to expand Medicaid. That's one of the things they're looking for. They want more support staff, like more counselors, social workers. We've been speaking with teachers all week leading up to this who have been preparing, and they said that they have all different needs, but the overall theme of this is they want more. They expect more from the state to help them and help support them. They said that it's most important right now to support the teachers because education is the forefront of everything. That's what they're telling us. So some of the other things that they're looking for is to reinstate state retiree health benefits. They say that was eliminated by the General Assembly in 2017. We have seen several signs with teachers saying that they have a master's degree and they want to be paid for their master's degree as well. So that's one of the things that they're focusing on. They also want a 5% raise for all teachers, and they want a 5% cost of living adjustment for retirees as well, and provide a $15 minimum wage for all school personnel. So again, just thousands of teachers here hoping to get their point across. Let's see if we can find one of these teachers to chat with what they're here for. Hey guys, do you mind chatting with me for a second? Talk about your sign. What do you have on your sign?
Well, it just says box tops don't pay for our, it's more than box tops. We need the politicians to do something because our teachers need adequate funding. Just look at the classrooms. Look at how teachers have to buy supplies. I'm just here today marching in solidarity with some teachers that I know from North Carolina, and I think it's important, that.
So you're not even a teacher?
No, I'm just marching with them today.
What compelled you to do that?
It's my civic duty. We pay taxes. Teachers and our taxes fund schools. Our teachers need adequate pay and adequate supplies for their classroom. And I'm a parent with kids to go to public schools, so it's important.
As a taxpayer, are you willing to pay more to make sure the schools are funded?
Just like anything, like our first responders, teachers, they deserve what they go through. We don't even know what they go through in the classroom. So I think it's incumbent upon us to just pay attention, to their needs and their parents, their mothers, fathers, sisters and brothers, and things of that nature. So they need the adequate funding for their classrooms.
And did you participate last year?
I sure did, happily.
What are you hoping they accomplish today?
I hope that the politicians in the suits see that it's important, because if we can't protest with our feet, guess what? We can protest at the ballot box and make a difference. So
thank you so much. Thank you. Just one of the many supporters that are here. Hi, another supporter. So are you a teacher or?
I'm a teacher. I teach elementary music in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
So Fayetteville. So you came quite a long way to be here.
Yeah. So it's about an hour and some change, but it was worth the trip to advocate for our public schools and our profession.
Why was it worth the trip to you?
You know, because our students and our support staff and our educators that are in the classroom every day deserve to have a high quality public education, and they deserve to have kids in high quality public schools. And so we are out here all together in unity, one voice, to recognize that we deserve those things for our kids, and we want to make sure our voices are heard.
That's one thing I found really interesting, is that there are teachers from all over the state here. You all have different needs, but you're all here today. Talk about the different needs that you're coming across yourself.
So in our school, one of our priority issues, of course, is having more mental health professionals like counselors and school psychologists and nurses and things like that, because we know our students, not only we want them to succeed academically, but we want them to be whole, healthy people, and so we need those supports in our school. And also for our educational support professionals who drive our buses, work in our cafeterias, you know, assist with our teachers in the classrooms, they also deserve to have a well-paid, compensated profession. And so we are out here making sure that all of the aspects of the school are well represented here today.
For the people who are watching on TV who think, why did they get a day off of school for this? What is your response?
So we didn't take a day off. There are many people here who had to pay $50 just to be here today of their own money. But we didn't take a day off. This is a day on. This is a day of action to make sure that we are rallying behind and beside each other to make sure that we have positive changes in our public schools, because we deserve those things and we want our kids to be productive humans in society. And so we are here to make sure that that happens today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Good luck. So one thing I do want to notice, when we were walking in, we passed some of the legislators' offices on your way in, and some of them had signs up that said, "Welcome teachers, thank you for what you do." So there's definitely a lot of support on some forefronts for these teachers. Again, they say that they're fighting for a number of different issues, but they are standing here together. They're hoping that coming together as one unit, that they'll make a change. And I think that's the goal here today, John and Barbara.
All right, Anna Rivera, thank you for that report. We'll check in with you again.
Let's go back now to where this rally is going to take place at around 12:30, Halifax Mall. Gloria Rodriguez is there now. She has another guest with her. Gloria?
That's right, John. We have Mark Jewell here with us, who is the NCAE president, and he was marching at the very front, so you may have seen him walking in as they got here to Halifax Mall. You can also say he's kind of the mastermind behind the whole rally. So how do you feel things are going today, Mark?
You know, we couldn't be prouder of the thousands and thousands of educators, parents, students, community members who have turned out in record numbers again on behalf of North Carolina's public schools. You know, clearly this is another statement here that the citizens of North Carolina have not been happy with the direction that we have been in for the past 6 years, and it's time for the General Assembly to reverse this trend.
And I know last year you had about 20,000 people out here. We don't have official estimates yet, but how many people do you think are here today?
Yeah, we anticipate many, at least those numbers this year, you know, possibly more. Folks are still rolling in and stuck in the interstate, and they're going to be continuing to file onto the field here. This is why we moved to the field this year, because it was a bigger space. Bicentennial Plaza was very, very tight, and we knew that we couldn't hold that this year.
And I just had a chance to talk to Mark Johnson, North Carolina's Superintendent of Public Instruction. He tells me that he supports teachers, but he wishes that you would not rally on a school day, because he says many parents are having to find childcare for their students. What do you have to say to that?
Yeah, you know, we've done that for years and years, and we've come on weekends, we've come on you know, spring break, and the schools have continued to decline in resourcing. So this is the absolute way to get their attention in the General Assembly. This one day of inconvenience could wipe out the 10 years of inconvenience the public education and our students have been in.
So I know you had the rally last year. We were out here for that rally as well last year. Do you feel that things have changed in the last year?
We obviously changed the policymakers last year.
You might want to interview her.
Say it one more time.
This is Miss Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
Hey, Khalila!
Hop on the bus to a living wage. Hop on the bus to a living wage. Hop on the bus to a living wage.
That was like Lauren's handwriting.
In the background. This is Miss Muhammad Ali, former teacher.
Good to see you.
Come on, Red, get in here. Come on, Red, get in here. Go ahead, Red. These are our team right here. Yes. Team. Yes. Red for Ed, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm Mrs. Muhammad Ali, former Muhammad Ali. 4 children. And I'm a teacher, and I totally support this rally. This rally means a lot. This has been happening for decades. They need to give these teachers the best benefits in the world. And they need it because they sacrificed their lives to teach our children. So they need the best benefits, they need the best books, the best upgrade, we need the best education, and we need to divide the schools so they won't have so many in one classroom so they can observe and learn this education. This is our future here. This is why the world is the way it is today, because we have not supported our teachers. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless you, man. Thank you. Awesome stuff.
Specifically, what brought you guys out here today?
He's a teacher.
I happen to be a teacher in North Carolina, and the commitment here is for clarity. We got to refocus. It's on the kids. We focus on the politicians. It's not a political war. It's about the kids, homeless kids I have in my classroom. I have kids affected by domestic violence. I have kids affected by low health care. So the nurses within the schools become the primary person providing the health care. So we got to refocus on the children, and the teachers basically vicariously advocate for the children and put the children in a position where they won't fall under the safety net. So I'm here as a commitment to the real struggle, which is a spiritual struggle, and Miss Ali adds to that through her leadership. You see my colleagues here, they give every day 100%. So what we have to do is respect the professionalism, because we've been deprofessionalized, if you will, and we've been not respected in the sense that we take care of the children more so on a daily basis than they are at home.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
This is not a political move. This is a spiritual move, and this move is necessary. And it's nothing more important in this world except our teachers, because they are part of our homes. They're part of our future.
So if you ask an essential question, can every child learn? Politicians would say yes, but the wise would say no. A child who's hungry can't learn. A child that experienced, like I said, domestic violence. I have a child in my class that moved 5 times in 4 months. So they can't learn unless we effectuate change, and we need everybody. We got to go back to our constituency. The churches should be out here.
Yes, they are out here.
If you look at the community, everybody in the community should support us, because we got this is a thing that is a national security threat.
That's right.
Because the children are the essence of what God give us, and we are supposed to put everything we have into them, and that's what these teachers do. You look around.
That's right.
All right? Every teacher you see, you should remember, represents 20 to 30 children. Your children, our children, my children. All right? So we got to make sure that we give the teachers the essence of what they need. And you can't play political.
That's right.
Yes,
Not only that we need the education, but we need protection for these children. Look at what happened in these schools. They need to put prayer back in the schools. They take prayer out of the schools. This is why things like this are happening. It's a spiritual thing.
What do you say to the folks in the building behind you who say, we've given you all we've got, or the other folks at home saying you guys are wasting your time? What's your response to all that?
My response is that they are not keyed into God's work. They're not keyed in spiritually. They keyed in only economically, about money-wise. They're looking at the money, and that's the situation. They make money for everything else, liquor, alcohol, drugs, guns, but they don't put all the money into our schools. There's something wrong with that picture. Then they need to be out of that office and get people like her and these teachers to be in the office where they need to be. We need to take them out of the office.
And stop the
how we-
political rhetoric.
That's
All right,
right.
we know how you play with the data. The empirical data supports the fact that you get more bang for your bucks when you support public education in its fullest. So when you play games and rhetorically play with the public's mind just to get elected, that's not good. We need true representation, and we need funding behind that.
That's
and there's
right.
funding sources that's available.
Yeah. And when you give, you live. So practice to give. These politicians, they need to give money to our schools so they can live. Because when you give, you live. And when they stop giving, they're going to stop living. Watch it.
And where are you guys from?
Northwoods Elementary. Carrie.
Northwoods. Northwoods Elementary, Harry.
And Estes Hills Elementary School in Great Chapel Hill.
Yeah. And I'm supporting the Sister Clara Muhammad schools all across the nation.
Thank
Thank
you for
you
your
so
time.
much. God bless. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you. What? Hey, let me get your phone number if you don't mind. I'll circle back. I need to get that footage. TMZ is doing a story on it. We might need to get some footage, possibly. I'll take a look. What's my food? Oh, okay, what's your first name?
GEJ, I can get to you right here.
Okay, perfect.
And then just use that mobile one and it'll go straight to it.
Okay, perfect. Pete Rivera, I'm gonna text you. Your mobile's up here?
Yes, it is.
Okay, perfect. DJ, I'm gonna text you. All right, thank you, sir.
It seems like a lot bigger than last year. And thanks for joining us here on the ABC 11 live feed of the Teachers Rally, the Red for Ed March here in downtown Raleigh. Again, just kind of from where we're standing, we've just been seeing a sea of red from students, teachers, supporters, other educators down here in downtown Raleigh, fighting for what's on their agenda. All day long, we've seen folks just dressed in red with various signs from across the state. Here in the ABC 11 viewing area, we have at least 15 school districts, as I reported earlier, 15 school districts who have canceled class for today to allow some of their teachers and support staff to come down here. Across that state, that number doubles to just over 30, probably 34 to be exact, for the school districts who have canceled class for today to come out here. So we have folks from all across the state, plenty of signs, no shortage of signs. Here's one that says, "Teaching will make me live in a van down the river." So here's just one woman here. And again, I would have to estimate that there are thousands of folks down here in red who are marching their way down here to our state capitol, to the General Assembly, and then circling around and going back towards Halifax Mall. Young kids out here as well. And a few of the demands that teachers and support staff and other educators have made, for one, would be to hire more support staff in their schools. A lot of these teachers are saying that they just simply don't have enough, or the too large. Other teachers are asking for more people, saying there's a long list in our General Assembly. Of our giving enough money, or earlier this year, the rest of the state very generous to teachers. Of course, that still needs to improve by both our as well as our students. However, However, with that being said, a couple of lawmakers have said that they've given enough to teachers, or that some folks who may be at home who are opposed to what's happening here. You have a lot of teachers in support for. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and walk a little bit the crowd as we go towards our state capitol.
I'm tired of the conditions that teachers are teaching in. I don't have kids they don't have enough computers to do the work that they need to do. I'm tired of the schools not being funded.
So what are you saying when you see all these folks out here?
And these are some of your students here?
These are not my personal students.
Okay. Are you all students in Lee County? Okay, so we have seen some students who are out here as well. Obviously a lot of teachers, but some students as well. Give us your names and how old you are.
My name is Sophie and I am 14 years old. I'm Sarah, I'm 14 years old.
And what's the main reason you're rallying today?
Our dad's a teacher and we really need more funding so the kids can get the resources they need to learn and grow and everything.
Thank you both so much for your time. So we'll stay out here at Halifax Mall. We'll bring you the very latest. Teachers still coming in. And of course, they will be starting the speeches a little later once everybody's here. Back to the studio.
Lori, thank you. We'll be checking back with you.
All right, well, we've seen the signs that have been made by the people who are out marching. And I know that, Amber, there are a lot of people who are expressing themselves on social media. Amber's there at the tag board to tell us what people are saying.
Yeah, there's so many signs that we saw pass in front of our studio here. What's trending right now, hashtag Red for Ed, hashtag Red for Ed NC, and also hashtag NCAE Strong. That's trending in the Raleigh area. So we just wanted to show you some of these that really kind of jump out at us. I think this one, actually, it's very interesting. So many Avengers signs, you know, that's the big movie right now. What is best for students is our end game, whatever it takes. That's what one person there on Twitter used. This crowd is marching towards the North Carolina State Capitol, the Dome just ahead. You can see the State Capitol Dome, which is where they are headed towards, and they are now arriving right now. They're all getting into position. Just so many videos of the thousands and thousands of people marching through the streets of Raleigh today. This also looks like it's down Fayetteville Street, hashtag Red for Ed. And then, you know, this as well, we heard Mark Jewell talk about the support staff. That's one of their key points. And here's the sign that she's holding. Students deserve and need more support. Nurses, psychologists, social workers, guidance.
And even just general supporters, as well as students who are out here today rallying for their cause. Even have just two young kids who probably aren't even in kindergarten yet out here just supporting this cause. And as I was saying earlier, a lot of folks there, what they're doing is they're marching here towards the General Assembly. Some are hanging to the right, some are hanging to the left, and they're going to go around the state capitol here over to Halifax Mall, where they're going to continue to rally. Then at about 12:30, so we're looking at just over an hour and 15 minutes or so. They're also going to have a couple of speakers up there, just really kind of energizing the crowd, getting them pumped up for the same reasons for why they're down here. Then at 1:30, a group of folks here in red, they're going to meet with legislators inside the General Assembly and push their agenda forward, just kind of to lobby just a little bit more for some of the reasons for why teachers and staff and educators are down here today. So we're going to continue following the crowd here. Also keep you up to speed on digital. If you are using any social media platform, certainly encourage you to use hashtag Red for Ed, as well as hashtag ABC11, so we can follow and continue that conversation as to what's happening here in downtown Raleigh. But this is yours truly, Dewan Hogard, here in downtown Raleigh for ABC11 Eyewitness News. I want to thank you so much for following and watching this ABC11 live stream of the teachers rally, this march and this Red for Ed in downtown Raleigh.
Lawmakers know that they need more for public education in South Carolina as well. Hashtag All Out May 1 if you'd like to look up some of those tweets and messages on social media.
Okay, Amber, thank you.
All right, so let's go back to the rally. Elena Athens is standing by. I'm sure she has someone to talk to as well. Elena?
Yeah, we just arrived here on Halifax Mall where that massive rally will be later this afternoon. This area is not only a wide space to hold a crowd as such, but it's also where many lawmakers, they have their offices in the legislative building right here. We're giving you a live look. So some lawmakers might be able to look down upon this rally when it does in fact happen. So you see some people walking in. The march continues up Fayetteville Street around the building, the legislative building, ending Halifax Mall. There is some shade and reprieve from the heat here for folks, and where I'm standing at right now, it looks like people are congregating according to their respective counties. We're showing you signs right now of Clay County. To the right of that is Cherokee County, and I'll give you a look into the mall area where some people are already holding signs for their respective counties. Graham County, Henderson County, so they will be standing here representing their specific areas of our state when this rally gets underway in just about an hour or so. So we have seen so many people this morning making their way to this area. I had an opportunity to speak earlier this morning to the Durham Teacher of the Year, and she tells me that these teachers, when they came up with their 5 demands, this was actually a consensus decision. There was an NCAE conference meeting over the summer, and about 1,000 educators got together and voted on what their demands would be, one of which was a higher minimum wage, a $15 minimum wage that would go to support bus drivers as well as cafeteria workers. So let's see if we can perhaps speak to some of the teachers here. Hi ladies, how are you? Sorry to bother you. My name's Elena. I work at a station here in Raleigh. Where do you teach in the state?
I teach in Haywood County.
Tell me why you decided to come down here today?
Because the state of North Carolina needs to value public education. Public education is a cornerstone of a successful state. And there has been a war against public education for the past few years. We used to be a leader in the nation, and for the past few years we have not been treating public education in the right way. So
you describe it as a war against education.
Absolutely.
So
it's been a dismantling of public education, and our students are losing. It is not okay.
Where are you at in terms of your tenure within the district?
This is my 23rd year in public ed. Actually, 24th year in public ed.
Are you planning to retire soon?
I have about 6 more years, so I'm in it for the long haul. I love my job. I love teaching. I love students, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
More than 2 decades you've spent in public education, but to that effect, what are your fears for recruitment and retainment for future educators?
Oh, I'm terrified. I have a little girl who is in 6th grade, and I don't know who's going to be around to teach her in a few years. I don't know. It's terrifying, and it's not okay. Our students deserve better. Our students deserve better.
So much for allowing me to stop and chat with you very briefly. So we're continuing to see if we can maybe give you a shot of Halifax Mall. Several educators, advocates filing in. I have today seen at least one lawmaker joining this crowd of marchers and heading with them down from NCAE headquarters up to Halifax Mall. So we're seeing more and more people file into this area where we are anticipating that rally to get underway in just about an hour from now. Let's send it back to you guys in studio, John and Barbara.
Thank you, Elena Athens there at Halifax Mall.
All right, we've seen so many views, Don, from either Chopper 11 HD and of the ground, and it looks like it's a fairly nice day, a little bit cloudy out there. We're going to talk to Don in a little bit, but now let's go to Jonah Kaplan. He's at the Legislative Building with the latest from the lawmakers' side. Have you talked to any lawmakers, Jonah?
Yeah, Barbara, it's interesting seeing the lawmakers here. Of course, today is a very active session, and the timing for this rally is no accident. This is right in the thick of budget negotiations. This is when lawmakers are crafting basically their plan on how to spend your tax dollars. All of the income taxes, the sales taxes, anything the state collects, the lawmakers are the ones who decide how much goes to what they want to spend it on, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's healthcare, whether it's education, whether it's storm relief. And education is usually the predominant allocation, more than 57, sometimes up to 60% of the entire budget. We're talking about $24 billion expected in the next fiscal year. And about 60% of that could be going to education. So it's very interesting hearing, a lot of the teachers here and their supporters and talking to some of the lawmakers when those are saying, we want to see teachers being made a priority. We want to see funding a priority. Well, what exactly does that mean? Because lawmakers here, Republicans in particular, the ones who are in control of the General Assembly, very adamant. Look, of course we're prioritizing teachers. We've just raised teacher salaries every year for the last 6 years. This new budget potentially is going to raise them again. A House budget proposal also reinstating an extra raise if you have a master's degree, therefore incentivizing teachers to further their higher education. There's more money being put in now to school construction. There's more money being put into school safety. We saw, of course, the tragedy that just happened at UNC in Charlotte. So there's a lot of money being earmarked for school safety measures. So Republicans are asking, okay, well, what is it to you to prioritize things? What more can we do? We're already doing this much, and there's only so much money to go around. The message here is, if you, like any budget, if you take money from one place, you're going to have to pay for it somewhere else. So, okay, let's say we put more money into education. That means we may have to take away money from storm relief, from building back the resiliency, making improvements in infrastructure for the next hurricane. So it is a balancing act. What is very interesting in the dynamic here on Jones Street is that for the first time in several years, the Republicans do not have a supermajority, meaning it is not a veto-proof majority. The governor will have a seat at the table because the governor does have some leverage. If Republicans pass a budget that the governor doesn't like, Republicans do not have enough votes to override that veto and to cancel out the governor and to just push him out of the way. So it's going to be very interesting, the negotiations. The House is expected to vote on its budget, which includes about a 4.5% to 5% raise for teachers. That's coming up actually tomorrow and Friday. The Senate's going to do theirs. And by the summer is when we're going to find out exactly, again, this $24 billion budget, how to spend your tax dollars. A lot of people down here, they have an opinion about how it should be spent. John, Barbara.
All right, Jonah Kaplan live for us at the State Legislative Building.
And it's going to get warmer and warmer as the day progresses. Meteorologist Don Schwinneker tracking how hot it's going to get today. Don?
Well, good afternoon, John and Barbara. Let's show you what's going on now as far as this system as it works through. And you will see the temperatures across the region climbing as we go through the day. We look at your day ahead, and those numbers running at 77 right now. So we're almost 80 degrees. By lunchtime, we will go 81 degrees. And then by 3 o'clock, 84 degrees. And it's humid out there. I think we'll see Wake County topping out around 90 from downtown Raleigh out to the suburbs. You can go upper 80s to near 90 in spots. Now, a live look into downtown Raleigh. Teachers are marching at 77. The dew point, though, that's how much moisture is in the air. We see that in the 60s. You really start to feel the humidity. That's what we're seeing right now. 71% humidity on a southwest wind at 10. Looking live into Fayetteville, they're even warmer. 75, actually a little cooler, 75. The winds are a little cooler, a little more cloud cover down there as you look to the south. We will see some clouds working through. This is the satellite and radar composite. We don't have anything showing up in the way of rainfall on the radar. Showers back through parts of Kentucky, but around here, nothing but sunshine beating down on downtown Raleigh as they walk through, and they will see a little bit of cloud cover cooling things off. The rain will stay away. All of this shower activity being routed around this high pressure, dominant high pressure in place. It's taking this moisture, it's pushing it up to the north and around, and we will continue to see it work out out as we head through the day. First alert predictor forecast model by this afternoon. We're in the mid to upper 80s, mostly to partly sunny skies. Tonight, the clouds will hang around the moisture with the dew point so high and all the moisture in the air. We're going to get fog in here, and I do think we'll see some patchy fog to wake up tomorrow. Tomorrow's looking just as warm, temperatures in the mid 80s as we go through the day. But for this afternoon, we saw the temperatures around 70, lunchtime 79 to 81 degrees, and then we'll be in those mid to upper 80s with the warm temperatures across the region. And after the march today, of course, tonight you have the Hurricanes playing. It's going to be warm for that game as well. If folks are tailgating, it'll be in the upper 80s pre-game. Thursday, we're talking 87 degrees, Friday 86, and Saturday into Sunday, showers and thunderstorms working back in. Lots of folks worked into downtown today that clogged up a lot of roads, and for a check on the roads and what's happening right now, let's check in with Kim Diener. She's standing by with First Alert Traffic.
Thank you, Don. It is a hot day for those teachers marching downtown Raleigh. This morning, we've got roads closed right now. These are the roads you're going to need to avoid: Fayetteville Street, parts of Fayetteville Street, parts of Edenton Street, parts of Jones Street, and South Street. They're closed for the better part of the day. Also, Morgan from 8 until 5, so you're not going to be able to access those. I know parking decks are filling up very quickly, if not already at capacity, but right now, according to the Raleigh Police Department, South Wilmington Street, all of the parking garages there off of South Wilmington, Davie, Martin, Hargett, and Morgan, they still have some room left. So keep in mind, parking is going to be very difficult to do as you get closer into downtown Raleigh. And I know a lot of folks still making their way into downtown, all arteries leading into downtown busy today. We have Chopper 11. Chopper 11 will show you all that sea of red marching downtown on this very hot day today. It does appear we do not have Chopper 11, but let me tell you, it's busy. So if you don't need to be downtown today and you're not a part of the rally, you don't have to go to work, I'd avoid it because it is going to be tough getting into and definitely tough getting out of, especially with all the folks downtown leaving work later on this afternoon at the same time as the people marching for the teachers rally. Back to you.
I'm Julie Wilson in the Breaking News Center. We want to pass along some updates after that shooting yesterday at UNC Charlotte. We know that killed 2, it injured 4. 2 of the 4 are actually from Apex. I actually want to switch over to a photo that we have from our Josh Chapin, who has been working out the scene in that area. We have a photo of one of those students that was injured in this from Apex. That student's name is Drew Pescaro. This is not video of Drew Pescaro, nor is that photo. We'll work to get that for you. We know Drew played football at Middle Creek High School in Apex. He did that in 2015 and in 2016. We know, according to his Facebook page, that he had worked for the school a little bit. He's studying in the communications department. He is expected to make a full recovery, as is 20-year-old Sean Dehard. He is also from Apex. He is from the Apex area as well. We're working to get information on him as well. So let's talk a little bit about what we know will still take place. There is the photo there of Drew that we have been looking at. We are still looking for information on Sean. So let's talk a little bit about what we know will still take place at UNC Charlotte. We know next week they're still planning to have those finals. They're still planning to have graduation. That is going to take place as expected. You're looking at scene video there, helicopter footage of what happened there just after 5 or so yesterday at UNC Charlotte. So this is what we know about the suspect at this time. We do know that he had registered with the school. He was enrolled in fall of 2018. Sources are telling us that he withdrew from campus. His name is 22-year-old Tristan Tyrell. Right now he's looking at a list of charges, including 2 counts of murder, 4 counts of attempted murder on this. I'm just looking through everything that we know on this. So our Josh Chapin has been out there. He has been tweeting about what's going on. He had tweeted out a photo about how they are starting to make repairs to the library. The library there, the front of it was blown out because of this. And we know tonight that there will be a vigil on campus. On top of that, the governor has ordered that flags on state buildings, at state grounds, and at facilities be lowered down to half staff in memory of the victims of this shooting, and that will take place through sunset on May 3rd. John and Barbara.
All right, Julie, thank you.
Let's go back to the rally now. Gloria Rodriguez is standing by Halifax Mall, where teachers continue to gather. Gloria?
That's right. And right now we have Representative Wesley Harris with us from District 105. And I know that your district does contain parts of Charlotte. So first of all, I just want to say so sorry about what happened over there, that tragedy yesterday. And I know you have a special connection to UNC Charlotte. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm an adjunct professor up at UNC Charlotte, and the shooting actually took place in the building beside where I taught last semester. So it's something that's hitting close to all of us home in Charlotte, and it's something that it was only, the bad thing is it was only a matter of time till something like this happened. And we cannot sit on the sidelines anymore. We have to act and make it so that this kind of thing doesn't happen. It's been normalized too much, and it's finally hit home for Charlotte, which is terrible in every way. And so we have to work to make sure this doesn't happen anymore.
And Representative Harris, you're absolutely right that we hear so much about school shootings, and then to see it happen in your community in Charlotte. Can you tell us how everybody there is doing, and what's the mood been like in the community?
It's the mood's somber. I mean, people are upset. It's finally hit close to home, and it's people are doing fine. They're trying to cope with it. We've been in touch with the mayor. The governor's on his way there today. Actually, he went last night as soon as the shooting happened, and so we're working with everybody, making sure everyone's okay. But it's a tough pill to swallow, and we're all working through getting over this right now and making sure it doesn't happen again.
Right. Can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to come out here today?
I came out I was elected on the backs of teachers. My mom is a public school teacher. She's out here somewhere wandering around, along with one of my other sisters is currently a teacher. One of my other sisters used to be a teacher, and so this is a family issue for me. This is a personal issue, and our economy was built by teachers. Our economy was built by our educational system, and tax cuts can get you a little way, but you build it through the foundation, and you build it through teachers. And this is what the future of our state is. And if we do not listen to these teachers, if we do not do what is necessary to make sure we recruit the best teachers, we're going to suffer. And if we were doing everything that the Republicans said we were doing, we would not see this. They're not marching for the sake of marching. They're marching because they're not being respected. They're marching because they don't get the resources that they need. If they would, we wouldn't see our schools struggling to put teachers in the classroom. We wouldn't see teacher enrollment in our teacher colleges at a 15-year low. That is why these teachers are marching. That is why we have to listen to them. And I'm optimistic that we'll be able to do something for it this year.
Have teachers been coming up to you? Because I know teachers are encouraged to go up to legislators, to go up to lawmakers and talk to them. So have they been coming up to you? What have they been asking for?
Yeah, they have been coming up, and which is great, because again, we're here. We want to listen to everyone, and so days like this I absolutely love, because we get to hear from our constituents. And Charlotte, sometimes it's hard because Raleigh's a long way away, and I think a lot of people don't really understand the power that the state government has in fixing this. And so they come in, they want to know what's happening to their teacher pay. They want to know if we're reinstating master's pay. They want to know if we're reinstating longevity pay, what we're going to do for their retirement programs. And that's good. We need that. We need them. We need to know what they believe in. We need to know what they need, and we can work to help arm them with that.
And many teachers have been saying that it's really up to the General Assembly to help bring about some of the changes that they want to see. Do you feel that there is support in the General Assembly for teachers?
There is support, and again, this year all the rules have changed. Again, we've been living under, this is my first term up here in Raleigh, we've been living under supermajorities for the last 6 years. And so finally, for the first time in 6 years, Governor Cooper has to sign on to this budget. And because of that, that's going to bring us all to the table. And we're not going to sign on to a budget that doesn't have impressive teacher pay raises, that doesn't bring back master's pay, that doesn't expand Medicaid. These are all things that our state needs, and they pay for themselves. It's not a cost of money. Like, these are investments in our economy, these are investments in our people, and we have to do it. And so the tide is turning this year, and so I am very optimistic we'll be able to move the lever a little bit this year.
Representative Harris, thank you so much for your time today. It was very nice to meet you.
Nice
thank
to
you
meet
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
And you'll see that more and more teachers are arriving here at Halifax Mall. There are still some empty spots, but it's taken a long time for all the teachers to come through. So in just probably about an hour or so, they're going to start the rally, is what we're told, and they will be having different speakers out here. But in the meantime, teachers are just kind of gathering. They have their signs up. They're gathering with their respective counties. And of course, the rally will get underway and teachers will be out here. Hey, you seem very happy here today. So what was the rally like and marching out there today?
It was awesome, a great feeling. It was very empowering knowing that other teachers are here supporting everyone and parents. the people that work out here had signs pointing us to. So I'm very excited to see everybody here.
And what is your name, and are you a teacher?
Yes, I am. My name is Meg McDaniel, and I teach at Harrisburg Elementary in Cabarrus County.
And so what is the main thing that you are marching for today?
I'm really marching for everyone else. I'm 4 years away from retiring, and I haven't had a significant raise, but that's not really what I'm marching for. I'm marching for the kids. They expect us to have more technology. They need to provide more technology. They expect us to have more books. They need to provide for the books. And the kids that need Medicaid, they need Medicaid. It's not like they're sitting it there. They can't help it. So I think we need that.
So really more resources is one of the big things.
Well, we're marching for the future. We're close to retiring, but if we don't march for the future, we're not going to have teachers to teach. And we've got to have good teachers in order for the future.
And I see you have your hat on, so it is hot out here, I have to say. I know I'm sweating here a bit. What is the weather like? Did that play a factor in you coming out at all? Because I know it's super hot out here.
No, last year I was here in the rain, so therefore it doesn't matter. We'll stand up for children at any time. It doesn't matter, rain, shine, heat. The breeze is wonderful, so the dear Lord has at least blessed us with the breeze. But we're standing up for children.
You'll do what it takes, and you've got your water there, which is very important. Thank you all for talking to us. So a lot of people are making sure that they stay hydrated out here because it is very warm today, and many people wearing their shirts red for Ed, and really some of them have shirts that say teachers to identify themselves as teachers. So we are here on a part of the lawn that isn't yet full, but there are still teachers who are making their way in here. So we're going to stay out here, and of course we will cover the rally as soon as it starts. Back to you in the studio.
Gloria, thank you very much.
All right, let's go to our Anna Rivera. She has been out near the legislative building, and I wonder if you've been walking around. I know you've been talking to a lot of teachers and advocates. Anna, where are you now?
Hi, Barbara. We are actually speaking with a group that they have a little bit of a different stance here at the rally. They're a grassroots activist group. Talk about why you guys are here.
We're here to counter this protest. Just gently, softly. We're just trying to engage the crowd, strike up some conversations, see if anybody wants to talk about facts. I did hand out several fact sheets. And a lot of people just walked on by and shook their head and did not want those facts. They felt like they were just not accurate. We have them nearby right there. They came from the legislature yesterday. I mean, I didn't print up, random information. And I know that they say this event is not political. I mean, people are handing out I just got this political flyer. So I'm just encouraging people. I mean, politics is fine. Vote for whoever you want. That's what I'm telling people. I don't think they need to be brainwashed by the NCAE. I don't think they should all just have a cheat sheet and be voting for whoever's on the Apple Card. They need to just he took off.
Oh, he's just getting video of their signs. So what is the opt-out? I noticed that you guys are all holding signs that say opt-out. What does that mean?
Opt-out is to cut ties with the NCAE, which is on the national level as well. So they go around and coerce they don't have to coerce in all situations, but in some, they do coerce and encourage that teachers, even retirees, even students that want to be educators, they kind of lasso all these folks to join in, and they pay their dues, and supposedly this is, higher raises and things like that are a result of joining that membership, or more liability insurance. I mean, these teachers are already covered with their jobs. They don't need this organization. Unions are bad for our state, and that's how I feel. So that's what I'm here advocating for. Get rid of the union. Let people have their individual freedom back.
What are some of the facts that you guys are handing out that you want the people here to know about?
We're just handing out the flyers. Everybody has access to those flyers. Everybody inside has them. So even if I don't have enough, it's just the state statistics for teacher salaries, I think as early as 2014 maybe, all the way up to 2019. But I mean, people are looking at their salaries and they don't know what the heck they're getting paid. So I think there is a lot of confusion. Someone I talked to last year said, I don't know what I'm getting paid until I actually see my paycheck. We might hear the legislature doing things, but we don't necessarily know what that means. So this group is this group is full of great people. However, they're being manipulated by people who are not so great. And so that's what we're here to tell them.
Do you think they're getting paid enough? Do you think teachers get paid enough? And is that kind of where you guys stand right now?
I think $50,000 is a great salary. I don't know how you feel about that. I mean, if those are the facts, how can you argue with that? However, I do want to know how much is enough. So if I'm a teacher, will I be happy with 60? And then laying cool in the shade? Like, what is the magic number? And no one seems to want to give that number. So we need the number. Let's make everybody happy. That's just not happening. I mean, we need to have conversations, and that's not happening either. I mean, talk to like 10 people, 15 people maybe. Like I said about the facts, they didn't want that fact sheet. I mean, it's a tough crowd, but I don't care. I mean, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm an individual. I have the right to be here too.
Do you feel like there is a lack of communication between both sides, and that's why things aren't getting done either way?
Both sides?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Democrats or Republicans?
No. You're standing out here trying to. You say you want to give them the facts and hand them the fact sheet. So it almost is like a teachers versus another group. Do you feel like there's not enough communication and they are not open enough?
Some of them are open. I mean, I'm a teacher advocate. We're saying we love teachers. We don't love the NCAE. So let's be clear. We love teachers. I'm a homeschool educator. I mean, someone laughed in my face. Oh, you're not a real teacher. I mean, that's the kind of response I got. That's ridiculous. I mean, I have the right to educate at home, and I'm also on 2 charter school wait lists. I mean, we have the freedom of choice to choose which kind of education we want. So I'm one of those people who's not going to go default traditional public school. I feel like that charter is a better community for my child. It's a smaller building. And then ultimately I prefer home education, but I mean, that's hard work. But a lot of the people I talked to today also were not NCAE members. So I was like, you're on my side. Let's come over here with me. So, I mean, we can build a couple of bridges. But I mean, with a crowd this size and people coming from out of state, I mean, that's going to be a tough feat. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
And I talked to another person with your group that's also holding a sign. She said that she was a teacher. So that's something you guys want to be very clear about, that you do support teachers.
Yeah, we have been saying the same thing. We love teachers over and over again. And we say, we want you to have a $500 raise. I think it's around $500 a year for them to be members of the NCAE. Sorry, I'm losing my voice already.
What are you guys hoping to accomplish today?
Just conversation, and maybe people do a little bit of research and figure out who they're marching with. I mean, the public schools of North Carolina, that's a liberal organization. Someone had some gun issues on their sign. When I asked her about it, she didn't have a response. And then I thought it wasn't a political march, and I asked this lady for one of her flyers. She had a big stack of these political flyers. So I certainly don't want to advocate for people I'm not going to support at the ballot, but I mean, just tell us the truth. It is a political rally. I mean, there's a politician walking by as I'm giving you this interview, Wake County Commissioner. So we're here with all the politicians. It's definitely political.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Obviously, as you can see, there are different ideas and different ways of going about today. So we just wanted to make sure that everyone was represented in this, because even though there are thousands of educators here, there are other people here too that have different views that don't necessarily go along with the NCAE. So just wanted to bring that to you, John and Barbara. So just kind of going around talking to all the different groups here as we continue throughout the day.
All right, Anna, thank you.
And a lot of people expressing their views about this on social media as well. Let's go back to Amber Rapenta at the tag board. Amber?
Hey, John and Barbara. Yes, we are using the tag board. We see all the signs that so many people are carrying in this march, but this is another way that they're getting their message out. And we just heard from that woman there who Anna Rivera was talking about, that this is not political, but I can tell you that one of the biggest politicians in our state is set to speak. Elena Athens just tweeted out the list of speakers, and it's going to start with the president of the NCAE, Mr. Mark Jewell. We've heard from him this morning in live interviews, but then Governor Cooper will be following Mr. Jewell there to give some remarks to all of these people rallying today. We're also going to hear from Christy Moore, the Vice President of NCAE, social worker from Durham, Simone Kiddo, and then many teachers are going to be speaking, several teachers from all around North Carolina. It's going to wrap up with the Reverend William Barber and then Brian Profit from the NCAE Board of Directors. So we're waiting for all of those speeches to get underway, starting just in less than an hour, around 12:30. After all of the speakers wrap up in the afternoon, maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock, they are going to be many people breaking off to meet with lawmakers from their areas to talk about what they are hoping to see for North Carolina educators. So wanted to just run through some of the tweets that we've been following here. A lot of people just sporting their red and showing their march. This one shows an interesting sign. I shouldn't need to wear a bulletproof insert in my teaching bag. That's what someone put on Twitter, showing someone's sign. The signs really are very impactful if you were watching as they were marching down the streets. We march for our students. It's personal in this together, that one there. The Rally for Education, just there's many people in that sea of red. A great day to be red. Our kids deserve more. Hashtag Red for Ed. And that is the hashtag that's trending in North Carolina. John, last time I checked in with you, we did point out that South Carolina is also having a rally today. They are also marching to the Capitol. Their hashtag is All Out May 1, if you want to look up what South Carolina is doing today as well. Students grants today at this is here in CAE. This is a video of them with their chant as they had. There's Mr. Mark Jewell there leading the charge. Educators are fired up and ready to go as they were leading that march there. And then I wanted to just throw this out there. We have Avenger signs. The Mudcats also saying that they are throwing a teacher appreciation weekend next weekend. And if you use the password teacher, you'll get $5 tickets for yourself and your family. They're thanking educators for what they do for everyone in our state. And this one is actually an interesting one. Look at the vantage point there. This was taken up pretty high. Teachers and more teachers marching in Raleigh today. Hashtag In This Together. This one showing the dome of the Capitol at the end of the street there here on Fayetteville Street. So it's been very interesting to watch the thousands pass in front of our studio, because now it's very quiet out front, but definitely not quiet on social media, as everybody is taking to social media, John and Barbara, to let their opinions and their voices be heard on this very important day for so many educators across North Carolina. Back to you guys.
All right, Amber, thank you. Yeah, 34 districts in 31 counties are closed today because of this teacher rally, and the officials of those districts said this was because so many teachers called in, not sick, but wanted a personal day off, that it would be hard to get substitute teachers for all of them. Critics are saying this could have been done after the school year was over. The teachers say we wanted to be there during the budget writing process. So you have both points of view there.
Right, and Arjona Kaplan has been at the legislative building all morning saying that this is a balancing act for lawmakers. They have the same pie, but they have so many areas to give funds to. And of course, education, Jonah was saying, it's about 60%. He recently spoke with the House Speaker Tim Moore, and let's hear what the House Speaker has to say.
Here at the General Assembly on Jones Street, you know, the timing for this rally, no accident, because it's right at the time where our lawmakers are deciding on a biennial budget. That's how lawmakers are deciding to spend your tax dollars over the next 2 years, something like $24 billion over all kinds of state services, the biggest chunk of that going towards education. And today we're joined here right now by Speaker Tim Moore, Republican Speaker of the House. Speaker Moore, I notice you're wearing the red tie. You support educators, I'm sure, because your own children are in public school.
Absolutely. I have a son who's a junior in high school, and of course the other one's a freshman at Appalachian State. So very appreciative of what our teachers do every day, and as a parent have invested by my own children attending public schools, just as I did.
What is the message that you are taking away when you see the sea of red that comes down Fayetteville Street, that comes to Halifax Mall? What do you take away from that? Because clearly they're trying to send you a message. So what's the message that you're either paying attention to or recognizing?
Well, number one, we certainly appreciate what our teachers do every day to make sure that we have the best prepared students in the nation. So we're certainly glad to hear from them. And then we've had from teachers who say they want us to do some more things. And then, of course, we've had a lot who are here saying, hey, we like what you've done and we appreciate it. You know, under this budget we've unveiled right now, average teacher pay will be $56,500. Base teacher pay for the most experienced teachers will be at $60,000. We're reinstating the master's pay, and we're also reinstating the North Carolina Teaching Fellows. So those were two of the asks that had been made by a number of teachers, and we're glad that we're able to do that as well.
Do you acknowledge, maybe even validate some of the concerns that they do have, that a lot of this is not just about salaries, it's about cleaning up some of the broken schools, it's about improving technology, it's about getting more supplies in there. A lot of teachers say this goes well beyond salaries.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up. You know, one of the things that we passed this year as well was the nearly $2 billion school construction bond that will be very much centered on new schools in K through 12. Look, I represent a border county with South Carolina, and I can drive not very far from my house and see some brand new schools that have been built across the line. Now in North Carolina, that's traditionally the county's responsibility for school construction. But we realize, particularly in a lot of our rural counties that don't have the resources, that they need some help. And that's why we passed overwhelmingly a bond proposal from the House to make sure that we can provide more school construction. You know, the other thing, and given the tragedy yesterday at UNC Charlotte that's certainly of mention, is that we've invested tens of millions of dollars in improving school safety. Every parent wants to know that when their child goes to school that they're safe. And we want to do all we can to invest the funds and provide the resources to make sure that happens as well.
And I'm sure that teachers will acknowledge that as well, but without getting too deep into the numbers. We look at the governor's budget proposal, we look at Republicans in the House proposal and then the Senate proposal. They're all going to have to come together, but the governor offering significantly more money. Why, in your opinion, can the state not afford that? We've had record revenues, we've had surpluses. So explain to people, if we have the money, why not spend it on something that seemingly all of these people, many parents and families, especially here in the Triangle as well, want to spend on education?
Well, what I would first point out is that the governor's budget is simply not balanced, and the governor is going to raise a lot of taxes in order to carry out what he would like to see happen. Look, I don't support any tax increases. One of the reasons that North Carolina is enjoying the prosperity we are right now, record low unemployment, the highest job approval rating that we've seen as far as companies coming here, the best work environment, is because of a lot of the policies that we've passed, including the tax reform that has allowed this state to have one of the best tax environments in the country. And businesses are going to locate where they want to be.
But you could use the surpluses without raising taxes on more education funding. So if North Carolina has the money, why not spend it?
Well, of course, we are spending it. We're going to be spending over $24 billion this year, which is the most the state's ever spent. And we're putting the most money ever into education. But, we're funding all sorts of things. We've had enrollment growth, more students in the schools. We have to pay for that. We've had enrollment growth, for example, when it comes to Medicaid. There are more folks who are on the system there, so we've had those increased. We've had a lot of things we're paying for, but as I tell people, it's not my money, it's your money, it's the taxpayers' money, and we want to spend it as wisely as we can.
All right, Speaker Moore, thank you very much. I know you're going to go now to preside over the session. And lawmakers, this is going to happen very quickly. The House is going to pass its budget. The Senate's going to pass a budget. Then they'll have to negotiate with the governor. And this is the kind of thing that's at stake here on Jones Street. And it does seem that lawmakers are paying attention to what's happening, but it's certainly they have a lot of homework to do to figure out how to spend your tax dollars. Let's spend it back to you guys.
Jonah, thank you.
Jonah, with that interview taped a few minutes ago. Let's go back out to the rally now. Elena Athens is standing by. Elena?
Yeah, and John, we are waiting for that rally to really get underway. We're starting to see some folks take to the stadium over there to sort of rev up the crowd ahead of this rally later on. Where I'm standing right now is what has been deemed Region 5. So this is many areas or many school districts that are in our viewing area: Durham, Franklin, Granville, Vance, Wake as Warren County. So people who are attending this rally are being asked right now to stand in their respective districts and kind of take in the speakers that we hear ahead. We have some of the educators here right now. I want to see if I can pop in and speak with you very briefly. Where are you a teacher, and what does it mean for you to be here?
I teach in Durham County at Southern. School of Sustainability, Energy and Sustainability. I think it's important. These students need somebody they can count on. Obviously, they don't always have that at home. They can confide in us. When it starts in the classroom. They can't learn anything unless it starts in the classroom. Parents aren't teaching them that, so they send them to school to learn. So it's important.
So I want to ask you, you're a teacher as well.
Yes,
we did just hear, my colleague just spoke with Speaker Tim Moore, and he said we want to do all we can to invest in funds. We are spending more than $24 billion and putting most of it in education. We want to spend as wisely as we can. So to hear something like that from House Speaker Tim Moore, what is your response in terms of investments in education right now?
I know it's a really challenging decision to make as far as immediate needs versus future needs, but if you want to think about raising kids to be ready for future challenges, you've got to invest all you can.
What are you hoping for from this session?
Well,
and what you're doing today?
First of all, just meeting people from across the state is very moving. It's very moving to meet folks who have driven here from the coast and from the mountains, all because they care so much about kids. And it's really just letting the lawmakers know that we really want them to invest in our future as much as we are.
Well, thank you so much for your time. So we have an idea of who is going to be speaking at this rally very shortly. Mark Jewell, who is the president of NCAE, will be kicking off the event. We will be hearing from a number of teachers, social workers. Governor Ward Cooper will also be speaking, as will the former North Carolina NAACP president, Reverend William Barber. He will be speaking today, however, on behalf of the Poor People's Campaign. I had an opportunity to speak earlier with some of the folks from that nonprofit, and they tell me that Reverend Barber is on his way here to Raleigh, where he has hosted several other rallies and marches in the past, but today he will be here speaking on behalf of the Poor People's Campaign. So that is something we will all be taking in very shortly once this rally gets underway here on Halifax Mall. We'll send it back to you guys inside studio. John and Barbara.
All right, Elena, thank you. Also, you can go to our app and you can vote. It's an unscientific poll as to whether you are supporting the teachers in this rally or not. Last time we checked, it was about 71% in favor of the rally and 29% opposed.
All right, let's go to Gloria Rodriguez. She has been on Halifax Mall for us, right where this rally is going to take place, talking to a lot of folks with differing opinions. Who are you talking to now, Gloria?
Yeah, so we have a teacher here with us who teaches in Durham, Jasmine, but you'll also notice she's wearing a green shirt. So of course there's a sea of red. Everybody's wearing red for Ed, as I say, but Jasmine here is wearing green. So tell us what the green represents.
So I am a teacher, but also one of the organizers of this march. My job today is to get Gaston County, who's going to meet right here and bring everybody together, because we know that the best way to build this community is through connection. And so I want to get everybody connected and making moves and making sure that we're working together as teachers and as organizers to do what's best for our communities and our schools.
And one of the interesting things that I found out is that they're doing something different this year. So they have everybody in their counties. They're trying to get everybody to stand by other teachers in their counties, and they're actually doing what they're calling a mass meeting afterwards for different counties. Can you tell me a little bit more about those mass meetings and what's going to be happening there?
Sure. So every county has a different number of people who are involved in what's, I'm so sorry, that's involved within their districts. There's a lot of counties and districts that have a huge swell of people that are here, and some that just have a small number of people. And so we want to make sure that every teacher is connected. And so within each district, we want to build that connection. We have everybody signing in, sharing phone numbers, sharing ideas, and sharing the vision of what they want for their district moving forward. What do they want their classrooms to look like in the beginning of the next school year? What do they want them to look like in a year? What do they want their district to look like? And what do we want North Carolina to look like as a state?
And so during those mass meetings, legislators will be able to come out and also talk to the teachers, legislators from those counties, and interact one-on-one with the teachers. So we've been hearing about the 5 priorities of what teachers really want. What is the main thing that you think is needed as far as your classrooms, what you're seeing in Durham?
So my particular classroom is a lot of low-income students, and I have quite a few students who are to the nurse, to the office often. I have one particular student that I always hold in my heart. He constantly has a toothache. His family doesn't have insurance. He has cavities that aren't getting filled. His mouth is not being taken care of. I can't function if I have a paper cut sometimes. So I imagine it's really hard for him to focus in my class and participate when his whole mouth is hurting. And I feel like that is a big systemic issue. So we need to expand Medicaid and make sure that all of our students are taken care of and are healthy and can come to school and be happy and learn and succeed.
Jasmine, thank you so much. So we're hearing from teachers about what the teachers want, but one thing that's really important, I don't think we've heard today, what do the students want? That is what we're asking here. And this student brought her own sign here. Look at that. Students need more recess. So she's taking advantage of the fact that there's a lot of lawmakers out here, a lot of tension. This is Vivian, and she said she wanted to come out here, let everyone know what students want. So tell us a little bit about your sign, why you decided to make that sign.
The reason I decided to make this sign was because some of my classmates have to walk laps for 20 minutes, and 20 minutes is all of our recess time, and it wouldn't be fair if they had to watch the rest of us be playing. So I made this sign so we could at least have like 10 more minutes, so they get some time to play.
And you were saying 20 minutes. You get 20 minutes of recess all day long. You said that's not enough. You think you need more than 20 minutes of recess. Why is that?
So kids can learn better in school.
And is recess a lot of fun as well? Tell me what you do during recess.
I mostly play tag and like running games.
And so why did you feel that it was important to bring your sign out here today to show what students want?
Because...
Who do you hope will see this?
The people who make the laws for schools and who can change the time of recess.
Oh, thank you so much, Vivian. Great job. So remember, not only do they want lawmakers to know about what teachers want, but also what students want, more recess. And I believe that there have been some studies that show that more recess could be good for learning as well. So that's another thing that they are also pointing out today. So back here, you can see all the teachers that have gathered for the rally here at Halifax Mall. And we're told that there will be several speakers out here. After those speakers, they will have those mass meetings where the counties will get together, talk. They will also be able to talk with legislators during those meetings. So it's really a packed day. And of course, we'll be out here. We'll bring you the very latest. We'll let you know when that rally starts. Back to the studio.
All right, Gloria, thank you. Also, just want to let you know that we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll be back with Eyewitness News at noon. More live coverage of that teacher rally in just a minute.
Stay with us.
Shaking they boobies like Congos, man. I'm shaking the city like quakes. The haters blue in the face like Gonzo, cause I'm breaking the cake, so let's bake. I'm taking the game's mine. Yeah, I witness the change, it's my time. Yeah, I'm new to the game, but y'all might wanna say you whack raps, daylight saving time. I can dance, homie, I don't two-step. Y'all looking at something like a true player. A girl told me that a man that can dance might could possibly get down with the tool in his pants. Now I'm a ladies, let me see it vibrate. And when it's over, you ain't gonna need your bird. Cause I'm a pro, make you bend your back low, then the pound it real fast, just like the percolate. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Girl, wobble it, and I'ma gobble it. I say you moving your head, go ahead, bobble it. We can cradle the bed, I'm straight racking it. The girl say, man, like the double racket shit. Damn, I'm so expensive, but I can't help it, my flow ridiculous. Boy, gotta get Christmas. I swag on this like girls on campus, and they want pictures. Need it. Let a little bit while I'm saying the scriptures. Cause I leave you holy like you pray in the temple. 1B, I move with the letter of a pencil. And mine won't miss you. Good night, kiss you. Take it there back, cause you got pistol. And I don't think I'll take her on these issues.
I have Miller, a little boy named Miller, up here with me. He's really cool. He's really... So if he's your sweet son, we have him up here. Yes. Do you have blue lips? Are you in school? Yes? Yes. What's your teacher's name? Is she listening? Yes. I was like, say yes, just in case. So we got him up here. Thanks.
Hey, how's everybody doing? I said, how are you doing? You ready? All right, look at your program. We got a few chants. Of course, no protest would be anything without a few chants. You know a few of these. We're going to start with, when public schools are under attack, what do we do? When public schools are under attack, what do we do? When public schools are under attack, what do we do? When public schools are under attack, what do we do? Whose schools? Whose schools? Whose voice? Whose voice? Can they take it away? Can they take it away? Whose schools? Whose schools? Can they take them away? Can they take them away? Here's my dear friend Turquoise Lejeune Parker.
Mike, I'm going to shout out my favorite. Where's Durham? Did he come today? Where is Wake County? Did y'all come? I saw Brunswick. All right, so y'all are going to help me do my favorite chant in the world. Y'all ready? Are you sure you're ready? Are you sure you're ready? Okay, so it's a call and response. You repeat after me. And then when we get to the end and we all say, I believe that we will win, you just keep chanting that part, okay? Everybody hear me? All right, here we go. You're going to repeat after me real loud, real strong. I believe. I believe that. I believe that we. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I believe that we gonna jump. I believe jump, jump, jump. I don't see you jumping. I believe that we will win. 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 All right, we're gonna do another one. Y'all ready? Y'all are amazing. Y'all must be public school supporters or something. Here we go. When public schools are under attack, what are we gonna do? Stand up, fight back. Stand up, fight back. You got it? Here we go. When public schools are under attack, what are we gonna do? go. When public schools are under attack, what are we gonna do? When bus drivers are under attack, what are we gonna do? When TAs are under attack, what are we gonna do? When principals are under attack, what are we gonna do? When custodians are under attack, what are we gonna do? Whose schools? Whose voice? Whose vote? Can they take it away? Can they take it away? Whose schools? Whose schools? Whose voice? Can they take it away? Can they take it away? I need you to look right over here at this building and say that real loud. Whose schools? A lot louder. I need you to mean that like your school system shut down and you are in Raleigh today. Are you ready? Whose schools? Whose voice? Whose vote? Can they take it?
The story, Jonah?
Yeah, Barbara, it's kind of interesting, how we say, this side, that side. I think everyone here would agree that they're on the side of children and the side of educating the next generation. The question is, what is the best way to do that? And what are the best ways to allocate the resources to do that? And of course, you have just different narratives. Everyone that is standing here at Halifax Mall, and you could see everyone in the red shirt. I presume a lot of them are Hurricanes fans, but those are not Carolina Hurricanes t-shirts. These are people representing one of the largest educational organizations here in North Carolina, which is the North Carolina Association of Educators. And here, their main narrative is, show us the money, put up the money. North Carolina has the money. North Carolina has a lot of revenues. If all these people keep moving in, that's more people paying income taxes. That's more people paying sales taxes, more business coming in. So North Carolina has all this money. Well, let's put it up. Let's spend on resources. It's not just about teacher pay. It's about counselors, social workers, stocking libraries, improving technology, all these different things. The other narrative is, look, if North Carolina is getting more money from taxes, well, then let's give it back to the taxpayer and let's feed the economy that way. And there are ways also to make up for some of the other ways of spending, which are, of course, the rainy day fund. How could we have all this money to give back to those who are suffering from the hurricane if we don't save for the future? There's only so much money to go around, and Republicans will say, look, we're just trying to find a balance between what we can afford and what we can save. So, again, I think everyone here would agree that, yes, our students are priority, children are priority, the next generation. The difference is, what is the best way to accomplish those goals? And right now is when lawmakers are debating how to spend your tax dollars. The budget negotiations are going on right now. We're talking about $24 billion, and we're seeing about 57 to 60%, so more than half, goes towards education. That includes higher education. That includes that University of North Carolina system. But the majority, most of the money that is included in a state budget goes towards education. John and Barbara.
All right, Jonah Kaplan live for us at the State Legislative Building with the lawmakers' viewpoints from Raleigh today.
And Jonah will continue to check in with lawmakers as they do this budget writing process. Let's go back to the rally and the teachers on hand. Elena Athens brings us an update from the ground. Elena?
As we wait for Elena, we're seeing a live picture from Chopper 11 HD, and this is over Halifax Mall, and you can see all the people that are gathering there waiting for the speakers to begin. Should be in about 10 minutes that the event should get underway. We're still seeing a sea of red. A lot of people still trying to show up and make the rally.
34 school districts in 31 counties are closed today, allowing teachers to attend this rally. We've seen them come from as far away as Asheville, probably more than that. A number of counties represented, and they are hoping to, after the speeches are over, as you see this list of some of the major, larger school districts in our area that are closing down, but after the rally is over with, after the 12:30 speeches and what have you, a number of these teachers plan to go in and speak to lawmakers and try to lobby them for higher education funding.
Now, we have a team of reporters who've been out there talking to advocates and teachers and lawmakers. And as you can see here, a lot of people want not just a raise in teacher salaries, but also more resources, more psychologists and counselors. They would like $15 an hour for teachers. They want to restore retirement benefits, advanced degree pay, those teachers who have master's degree to get higher pay, and also to expand Medicaid.
So let's go back to Elena Athens now on the ground, talking to some of the teachers there. Elena?
Yeah, and John, we are waiting for this rally to start, where we will hear from a number of advocates, leaders, as well as Governor Roy Cooper. He will be speaking at this rally. He is second on the docket to speak right after NCAE President Mark Jewell. We're also expected to hear from Reverend William Barber, the former state NAACP president who now works for the Poor People's Campaign and does work with them. So let me take you a little bit closer. We are on Halifax Mall right now. We're still starting to see some people congregate to this area. There was a bit of a lull from the march that started at NCAE to Halifax Mall. So it seems that we are getting a little bit closer. We have heard some people take to this podium here, start to rev up the crowd for what lies ahead. There are teachers, educators, as well as advocates who are standing in areas that represent their respective districts. So there's an area for Wake County, there's an area for Chatham, Durham, and so on. There is the sun that is beating down directly in this area, so it is rather hot and sweltering, and people are packed in here. But the people who are standing in this crowd are passionate. They are here for a reason. They want to fight for not only education funding, but for more help and support, they say. So let me see if perhaps I might be able to speak with some teachers. May I ask you, sorry to bother you, where are you a teacher at?
In Gaston County.
A little bit of a hike for you to come out here to Raleigh today?
Yeah, about 3 hours.
3 hours. Why was it so important for you to put in that request, to have the day off, and then to be here in the state capitol?
Well, I guess it's kind of like saw a post that said change doesn't happen by posting on social media. Change happens by going out and making a statement.
Can you tell me how things are in your district where you teach?
What do you mean?
Just what you're experiencing and perhaps maybe some of the hardships you might be here speaking on?
Just across the state, I guess, budget cuts, and we see less staff every year and more students, more needs. We're just finding it harder and harder to meet them.
One of the demands that the NCAE is pushing for today is for additional funding to help bring in more social workers as well as counselors. Can you speak to that and what that would do and how that would help and impact students in the classrooms?
For just the social workers or the positions? Yeah, well, just from what I know in my school, and our social worker is a huge asset to our school as far as student absences and student needs and getting kids placed that need temporary homes, things like that. So, and I mean, we have one social worker for every 3 or 4 schools. They're overworked, but they still keep on trucking, so.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to stop you and chat for a little bit. So let me give you another live look here on Halifax Mall. We are minutes away from that rally beginning. We will hear from several people, not only Governor Roy Cooper and the NCAE, but we're also going to hear from social workers in Durham, retired teachers. So there is quite a many speakers on tap to speak here at this rally. We'll send it back to you guys in studio, John and Barbara.
All right, thank you very much, Elena Athens. Another quick break here. When we come back, Don Schwinniker is going to have the forecast for us.
All right, stay with us.
Donut here? I wish. That's a beautiful dog. It's a dangerous dog. They're just slobbery.
What's that?
They're so slobbery.
I know. They're just big dummies.
Really, they are, yeah.
Sounds funny. I looked over and there was a girl dressed in black shirt. Like, Elena's right next to all the places you can be. recorder, but first I thought it was Elena. I'm like, what the heck? And I realized she's carrying her own tripod. Oops.
She's got a tiny tripod. That thing's like a twig.
Can you show me your moves in the club?
What?
Your moves in the club when you got the back
Oh,
spot.
yeah.
Bust a move.
Yeah.
Bust a hit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm an old lady. Did you see the people with the ferret?
Yes, he was right there.
Where am I?
Huh?
Where am I?
I would have said Chapel Hill, but
You'd think.
I didn't see it until I heard the cops say that's illegal use of a ferret. I'm like, what?
So odd.
Yes, he has a ferret. I wish I had something automatic that would just turn this camera back and forth.
I know, right?
Like, I don't know if they're taking it or not, but whatever.
They're in weather right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well. Oh, that's right. Are we kind of doing it there?
I think, kind of.
I wish I knew how much battery was left.
It doesn't tell you?
I mean, I guess I could open it up and push the button.
Oh.
Still has 3.
It's pretty good.
Well, my camera battery is finally dying after, wow, 3 hours is pretty good.
That is pretty
One
good.
camera battery. How many steps?
I should have worn mine.
What? Whatever. Only 6,500.
I didn't know if that was a bark.
I'm being attacked by a laser Rottweiler.
I wish.
Kisses. Well, yeah, but like, you have an opportunity. It's like, what is the problem? Like, I'm not going to. You're not going to use it. I'm not going to be there. Like,
Come on. I was like, yeah, get her.
are you out of your mind? And then they don't put me on TV.
Well, that's when you went and got the.
Oh, I heard. Oh, and he's walking away.
I was like, no,
Luke, I understand that you have a petition, you have about 5,000 signatures, and basically those who signed the petition don't support that the rally is done on a school day. Can you tell me more about that?
Absolutely. So in Johnston County, for instance, this will mark the 10th day that we have seen that schools have been out. I know some of those were spring break days and teacher work days, but however, parents are the ones that are really suffering today. If you look at it, like I said, this is the 10th time since March the 1st. This could have easily been done in the summer on June 15th or any time in June. But for instance, single moms are having to pay for sitters to watch their children while they should be preparing for end of grade testing. And I believe that this is not as constructive as it should be, and that the teachers should be in classrooms today because the children are the one that are suffering today.
I've been talking to teachers and I asked them that question, why do it on a school day? And some teachers say that they felt that was the only way to really make a statement and get the attention of lawmakers. Do you agree with that?
Well, if that's what they believe, then I'm not going to contradict them. But however, as a Republican and as a voter in this state and a taxpayer, I do not believe so. I think our teachers should be in the classroom. I think I saw a Civitas study that was going to cost around $40 million today for these school districts to take off. I need to readjust that number as well to see exactly if that's correct, but that was a study that was put out. So I just think that the teachers should be in the classrooms educating our children, because vouching for a $15 minimum wage and expanding Medicaid, whether if you agree with those issues or not, that is not about the children. This is a rally to elect Democrats in 2020. This is to prop up Governor Cooper for his re-election campaign, who vetoed a 9.5% teacher pay increase last year. If you want to talk about the facts and these teachers and NCAE, Republicans have given the largest investment in history to education 6 years in a row. This will mark the 6th year of teacher pay increases and supply funding. So I think the Republicans in the General Assembly are doing a fantastic job when it comes to providing funding for our teachers and teacher pay raises. We're second in the Southeast. We're going to get better. They're continuing their investment. And that's really just, I'm proud that Republicans have stood strong on this issue and actually providing results and facts.
As far as your petition, some may hear about your petition and ask whether you support teachers. Would you say you support teachers?
100%. I grew up in public schools. I love my teachers 100%. I mean, there's no denying that. This is not anything against anyone personally, but as together for wanting to have collective bargaining rights, taking away the right to work status as the state of North Carolina that was implemented in 1947. I just do not think today is going to be constructive for hitting the reset button among Republican legislators and the General Assembly with NCAE and teachers, because like I said, this is a rally to elect Democrats in 2020. They've made it plain and simple, and you see a lot of literature being passed around today. I was just handed one about keeping our hands off of Venezuela. I think you saw that yesterday where the dictator's rule had vehicles running into those who want regime change in Venezuela. So it's not 100% about education today. It's not.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. We appreciate it, Luke.
Absolutely.
And we have some Republican lawmakers out here as well as Democratic lawmakers who are out here talking to teachers, listening to their concerns. And if we take a quick look over there, you will see that the teachers are gathered right now for the rally. They're starting some speeches, some announcements, and then of course they will have speakers here today. So we will bring you the very latest coverage from that rally. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Gloria.
Yeah, so we want to listen in on that rally now as the speeches begin. Again, Governor Roy Cooper among those scheduled to address the crowd, along with William Barber, the former head of the NAACP in North Carolina. There's Governor Cooper
right
on
there.
the podium.
Yep.
Elementary music teacher, shout out to our R's. Yes. And we are officially starting our rally today, and I am pleased to be your mistress of ceremonies today. All right, so we are going to start off our program with our president of the North Carolina Association of Educators, Guilford County teacher, Mark Jewell.
All right, thank you. Fired up! Fired up! All right, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Each and every one of you, you all look like North Carolina to me. You are beautiful, and thank you for standing up for our students and standing up and rallying in massive numbers for the second year in a row for all of our educators. That means our bus drivers and custodians, teacher assistants, classroom teachers, and administrators. I am Mark Jewell, and I'm a 32nd year veteran educator from Guilford County Schools in Greensboro. And I have the very proud honor of serving as the president of the state's largest public school organization, the North Carolina Association of Educators. But before we begin today, my folks, we would like to take a moment, as you know, of the tragedy that happened last night on our state university, the University of North Carolina in Charlotte. A loss of life and a violent act was committed last night, and we know that 2 people have lost their lives and about 4 folks are injured. So at this time, let's please take a moment of silence. I want to thank you for that. This incident is yet another example of the need for decision makers to take action to prevent dangerous weapons from reaching the hands of dangerous people. The thoughts and prayers are not enough to keep our students safe. And we call on our elected leaders now to take action to prevent the next mass shooting before it happens again. Our students need to be healthy and safe at school with proper counselors and medical attention. We know that healthy students are successful students, and we know that educators have an important role to play to further that goal. Unfortunately, we currently are well below the national standard for school nurses in our state. And a legislative report that we failed to meet our own target of 1 per 750 students. Today, we have 1 nurse per 1,086 students. Some schools have a single nurse serving 6 schools at a time, and more than a quarter of our state's middle and high schools lack a full-time nurse. This is not the North Carolina that you and I know and love. Healthy kids come from healthy families, and there is no single better way of ensuring quality, affordable health care than an expansion of Medicaid. Our state is now in the minority of states who have not expanded. More than 500,000 of our fellow North Carolinians who would benefit are paying the price with their health. To those who say Medicaid is not an education issue, I say then you don't understand what education really is. Last year, our Rally for Respect was just a beginning. We had pledged to hold our elected officials accountable for prioritizing corporate tax cuts instead of our classroom, for politics ahead of our students, for selling out our communities instead of investing in them. And guess what? We did it last year. We broke the supermajority in the House. We dismantled the supermajority in the Senate. And we elected pro-public education candidates from up and down the ticket. From Murphy to Manteo, we made it clear that the voice of our educators and all of those who care about public education, we heard not only here in the streets of Raleigh, but we heard it in the ballot box. We didn't care if you were a Democrat, Republican. We cared if you valued public education. We came to Raleigh to meet our goals, and we did. And we should be proud of what we've been able to accomplish. But y'all, as we well know, it just wasn't enough. We know what enough could look like. Governor Cooper has already released his budget that makes critical investments in our students, our educators, and families. There are investments, yes, in textbooks. Can you imagine that? You get textbooks, supplies, school building infrastructure, significant educators, our teacher assistants and bus drivers, classroom teachers, administrators. Why did he do this? Because when he listened to us, he knew that he was listening to the voice of the experts in public education. Governor Cooper understands that embracing what is important to educators, he is embracing what is important to all of North Carolina. In his budget proposal, Governor Cooper proposed an increase for educators as 9.1% over the next 2 years. The governor's proposal will restore additional pay for educators who hold master's degree in their instructional field. And the governor is going to ensure that educators are professionally compensated, and that means all of our school workers. See, the blueprint is already there. We have to make it a reality. Just as we've asked our legislators to address those 5 key issues last year, we're asking our legislators to concentrate on their 5 key issues this year. Number 1, provide enough psychologists, social workers, counselors, and nurses, and other health professionals and librarians. Address the living wage and the $15 minimum for all of our school personnel. Provide our pay increases of 5% and teachers in the classroom. Number 3, expand Medicaid. Number 4, reinstate the retired health benefits eliminated by the General Assembly in 2017. And number 5, restore advanced degree compensation that was stripped by this supermajority General Assembly in 2013. These 5 things will put North Carolina back on track to be a beacon in the South for public education. And once again, what is the best opportunity for our students can have? I moved here from West Virginia 20 years ago. North Carolina was a destination state for our educators then. We were a beacon in the South for public schools, and we were near the national average in educator pay and per pupil funding. We were making the right investments. Today, we tell our legislators that North Carolina deserves to get back on track of investing in our strong schools, strong students, and strong communities. And we intend to make that happen this session. Now, while some of our legislators might not want to talk to you today, there is a true friend and a champion of public education who lives just down the street. This distinguished gentleman and his lovely, wonderful wife, may I say, Christine Cooper, who spends all of her time mostly in our public school classrooms and working with our kids and teachers. The governor released a budget that made critical investments in our students, more money for textbooks, supplies, technology, building infrastructure. His plan gives an average 8% raise. No teacher would get less than a 5%, and which puts us back on track to get to the national average. Key investments for our classified employees, our teacher assistants and bus drivers and custodians to move them closer to the $15 hourly wage. And the General Assembly, though, chooses to put us behind. The governor has put forth the largest state employee pay raise in a decade. Educators, please welcome our friend, your governor, Roy Cooper.
Hello, North Carolina Public Schools. I'm grateful to see you today. Kristen and I both are, and I know that my public school teacher mom is looking down on us and smiling today. I am here today to strongly support our public school educators and to work toward making sure our children have the very best public education in the country. But I also come today with a heavy heart and an additional message. The tragic shooting at UNC Charlotte last night leaves us deeply saddened, frustrated, and angry. I was in Charlotte on the campus last night, and I'm headed right back there after this event. I know that many of you are University of North Carolina Charlotte graduates. This university produces great teachers, and I'm telling you, it is a tough time there right now. This violence is all too common in our country. It can happen anywhere, and unfortunately, it often does. We are devastated that it has happened here. As educators, you know you often think about school safety when you walk into your schools, your classrooms, and your gymnasiums. We must work for a day when no student, no teacher, no parent is fearful for their safety at a school or anywhere else for that matter. I'm proud of the work we did when I was Attorney General and now Governor that helped our schools and law enforcement plan and train to respond to these violent events. Last night, we saw the results in action with swift, coordinated, brave response that saved lives, and I am so thankful for those law enforcement officers and first responders. But now, We need to put the same type of coordination into preventing these shootings in the first place. And telling legislators that school safety is vital. And that doesn't mean putting guns with teachers in the classroom. As educators, you do so much more than just teach math and reading and science. You boost your students' self-esteem. You comfort them in time of trouble. You instill in them a sense of purpose and direction. And you are often the first line of defense for crises big and small. Educators are key to strong, safe communities, and you deserve the support in the many roles that you play. That means significantly better pay for all teachers and principals, including our veteran teachers and support staff. It means more school nurses and counselors. It means modern, safe classrooms. And it means respecting your work and treating you like the professionals that you are. We know teachers care more about outcomes than incomes. That's why we say it so much. And that's why you're here today also to push for Medicaid expansion. To make sure that families, often working families, have health care coverage that they need, including badly needed access to mental health services. More mental health coverage will help keep us healthier and safer. Every day, I want you to know this, every day I will fight for teachers and public education in our state. And when I go back after this event to the campus of UNC Charlotte this afternoon and stand in vigil with their students and faculty tonight, I will tell them that our teachers are with them. That you support them. And that they are in your prayers. Thank you for all you do. God bless our educators, and God bless the great state of North Carolina.
Y'all give our governor another round of applause. We put him in office. We did that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue with our program. Next, representing the great county of Durham, Bull City represent, we have Christy Moore, Vice President of the North Carolina Association of Educators.
Hello, educators. Come on, we can do better than that. Remember whose office is over there? We can do better than that. Hello, educators. That's what I'm talking about. So we came out here today because we need to educate some of our legislators about what needs to happen for our children. Is that correct? We know that strong communities make strong schools and even stronger students. Would you agree? When we concentrate on the needs of our students, the solutions become clear. We need to support the entire student, from their mental health to their physical health to their academic success. We need more school nurses. Do we have any nurses out there? No, because we need some more. We need more therapists, more counselors. We need long-term solutions for our students. We know that education is more than a test score or a report card. Children respond to everything around them, including the classroom they sit in, or the mold they sit in, or the broken sinks they sit in, or the paint peeling off the wall. They respond to the books they're taught from. Wait, if they have a book, and if it is what? Current. And all the educators in the building interact with them. All educators, teachers, cafeteria workers, custodians, teacher assistants, nurses, psychologists. We are all in this together. Now, we had a little march last year about this time, didn't we? Just a little one, right? And we showed politicians that educators are just a little bit serious about improving our public schools. But guess what, y'all? That was just the beginning. Now, we know that lawmakers are working on a budget right now, but we still have a long way to go. But that's why we are back here in this heat. When rain won't stop us, you know a little bit of sun won't stop us. Now, some of our politicians would like to tell us that, oh, North Carolinians don't think our teachers should be organizing, or they don't think our teachers should have a voice. Well, we wanted to prove them wrong, because what? They believe in data, so we're going to show them a little bit of data, okay? So with 71% of North Carolinians supported this 1 day of action. And that was bipartisan, y'all. When North Carolinian teachers earn 64.5 cents on every dollar than other college-educated workers, that's a little bit of a problem, wouldn't you say? The wage gap is second worst in the nation. This is not the path we can continue to walk down. Do you want to keep walking down that path? Are you sure? Well, guess what? 69% of all North Carolinians think we need to stop walking down that path. We need to veer to the right or to the left and get back on the right track. Our 5-point agenda shows that there is a clear way to again make North Carolina the best place for educators and our students. The solution does not lie in accounting tricks, because guess what? We can do math too. And a press conference with little slick graphics, because guess what? Our posters are a lot better. And it didn't cost the taxpayers any money. The solution lies in real increase to education funding. And we're not just talking about our teachers. We need to make sure that all of our children are taken care of, all of our classified staff are taken care of, and everybody in public school is taken care of. Did you agree? And don't make us have to come back.
And you have been listening.
And you have been listening to a speech from North Carolina Association of Educator person from Durham County, one of several today. We're going to take another quick break and have more on this rally when we come back.
All right, stay with us.
simply not enough of us to give our kids what they desperately need. This underfunding in a state with the lowest corporate tax rate in the country, a state that has sacrificed $3 billion in revenue since 2013 in order to cut taxes for the wealthiest North Carolinians, this is more than a disservice. This is an injustice. I know that people have criticized us for organizing and coming together today. I know that people have questioned you and denied you the leave that you have earned and attempted to intimidate you. I know that you rode on a bus for 3 hours to get here, and I know that it is hot. And I know that sometimes you question yourself. Am I doing the right thing? Will this work? Is it worth it? My answer, our children's lives are worth everything. And we have a duty to fight for them with everything that we have. My message to the General Assembly, I am standing here today celebrating with legislators who have committed to funding student services to national standards and calling out those who have not. Stop privatizing our schools and prioritize funding for student services to recommended ratios. Funding this demand will get the students the support they need to be available for learning, and it will save lives.
All right, shout out to some more. All right, family, on the issue of restoring retiree health benefits to our newest educators, we have 17 in the Senate. How many more do we need? How many more do we need? We have 50 in the House. How many more do we need? How many more do we need? All right, so we have two speakers on this issue today. We have Sandra Hatley, retired special educator from Catawba County. And we have Monica Smith, student from North Carolina State University.
Now, folks, give me a script. Can you believe it? I talk right off of my cuff here. All right, can you hear me now? All right, I'm going to be using my teacher voice along with this. All right, I have been part of NCAE since I was in high school. I taught 42 and a half years. I didn't leave because I wanted to. I left because I was tired of the paperwork. Woo! Let me tell you, my first paycheck was $343. My sister-in-law laughed at me when I told it because I was right proud of that first check. She said, "What did you go to college for?" I make that in 2 weeks in the hosiery mill. And I said, I don't care. I had good teachers, and I had some not so good. I fight for the children. I fight for the teachers who care about the children. I can remember the first rally we ever had as NCA in the Cow Palace. And we tore up the sacred cow of tobacco because we wanted funding for all people in schools, public schools. Folks, we fought for work days. We fought for sick pay. We fought for greater salaries, and we were making it. We were making it. And now look at all they've taken from us. And we still have people who want to be in the profession. Monica is at NC State, and what are you wanting to?
Fifth grade.
Woo! Honey, I love her. 2 weeks ago, in my local, we interviewed students for scholarships to become educators. We had 7 beautiful, wonderful, smart people, and they are passionate about teaching every child. And I am worried that they won't stay. Monica, are you going to stay?
Yeah, I'm going to stay.
All right, we got a promise on that one. But we have got to get back the health care for retirees who are employed in 2021 and beyond. How dare they take away the dignity of teaching when people retire and don't have health care to supplement Social Security. That is a terrible thing. Are you with the future teachers? What are you going to ask for? Every day you want retirement benefits, return to those teachers who are coming after all of us. Thank you, and rally on. Woo!
All right, give it up for Sandra and Monica. In order to have the future of the profession, we must honor those who came before, so give it up for them. All right, on the issue of expanding Medicaid, we have 17 in the Senate. How many more do we need? How many more do we need? We have 50 in the House. How many more do we need? How many more do we need? Y'all better talk to your reps. Got to get these numbers up. All right, so next we have Nicole Dozier from the North Carolina Justice Center, who is going to speak about why it is critically important for us to expand Medicaid so that our students come to classrooms prepared, healthy human beings. Give it up for Nicole.
Hello, North Carolina Public Schools. How are you out there? So today I stand here as a proud graduate of a North Carolina Public Schools from high school, middle school, high school, and university. And I am the proud daughter of 2 retired school personnel folks. So what I know about teachers then is that not just teachers, but all school personnel, that they do not go into this profession because they care only about themselves. They do so because they want our children to be nurtured and to grow. And by the way, our children should be safe, whether they're in public schools, in any county in this state, whether they are in a university setting, but wherever a child goes, he should be safe. And it's not fair that children have to worry about their safety and instead of just being worried about educated. So I'm here to tell you that there is a policy that we must pass this year. It will ensure that all of our children, not just some, but all, each of our children are ready to learn when they arrive in class. That policy is what? Medicaid expansion. There are hundreds of thousands of people in our state who do not earn enough to buy private health insurance and make too much for Medicaid. The federal government will pay 90%, let me repeat that, 90% of the cost of closing the coverage gap in our state. And our other stakeholders like health systems and insurance companies will pay the remaining 10%. This gap causes unnecessary pain. It's pain in our state, and it hurts our ability to educate our children. We all know that children need adults to take care of them. That's not a question. And we know that when we deny basic health coverage to these adults, that our children suffer. And this is not only true at their homes. Many of our early childhood professionals lack health insurance coverage. And not only that, many of our adults who work part-time in our schools lack health insurance coverage. And by the way, there are parents, too many parents, who still don't have health insurance coverage. Karen, a local student, talked to us about how Medicaid changed his life. Well, I think it's time for Medicaid to change the life of his mother, too. But instead, we send children from homes where parents are maybe sick and have delayed their care. And then we send our children to daycare settings where the teachers may be sick and delaying care. And then when they start school, what do? We ask teachers to fix all the problems that we have not addressed. That's not fair. It's time to stop judging teachers and other school personnel for the issues that all of our children have to face today. It's time to start judging politicians. It is our politicians who are denying health insurance coverage to early childhood providers and to our children, early childhood educators. It's time for our politicians to stop. They are denying health insurance to part-time school personnel. And guess what? It's our politicians who are denying health insurance to parents who have to take care of their children. So some people have said to me about coming here today, you know, it'll take a miracle to convince this legislature to close the Medicaid coverage gap in this session. But I'm a believer, and so that's why I'm here to encourage you that it will take a miracle. It's because of all of you, the thousands and thousands of teachers and other school personnel and allies like you. We have gathered here today, and we have other things we could be doing to change the trajectory of our state. So thank you, our educators, our other school personnel. Your work is underappreciated and you are underpaid. So thank you for educating and defending, something you should not do, our children every day. And thank you for fighting for access to health care for everyone so that we can send all of our children to school healthy and ready to learn.
Thank you so very much, Nicole. Thank you so much. All right, so we are almost through. We got a few more speakers. So repeat after, answer me. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Yes. All right, so here we are on the issue of advanced degree pay. You got your master's degree, put your hands up. You got your doctorate, put your hands up. And you should be paid for it. Absolutely. All right, so we have 17 in the Senate. How many do we need? 9. And we have 50 in the House. How many do we need? 11. All right, so coming to the stage, we have Elizabeth Hackney, English teacher from Guilford County Page High School representative.
Hey guys. So as she said, my name is Elizabeth Hackney, and I have been lucky enough to have the most amazing career possible. For 16 years, I've been a high school English teacher, but my career actually began years before that. As the daughter of 2, now retired North Carolina educators, my childhood was spent in their classrooms and roaming the halls of their school buildings. To me, these buildings were full of magic. As I played school in their classrooms, lecturing my teddy bears, I imagined what would it be like to be a teacher. So now I am, and I get to make magic for my students every day. But as I've seen the world from the other side of the desk, I've learned that all is not as it should be. While I love teaching my students the bravery of Beowulf, the snark of Huck Finn, the snark of Shakespeare, and the humor of Huck Finn, My priority is
The House has put out their budget. More details are going to be coming out today, but we know that the Senate has to also weigh in on this. So we're urging everyone to make sure that they stay connected to their legislators, that they stay connected with each other, that they start contacting each other. And you know what? If it comes back in June and July and we have to come back again, we're going to be here, because we cannot take another budget that de-invest in public education. So we need strong investments, and we need to make sure that we make North Carolina a world-class public school system again.
What do you say to the folks who are saying you guys are wasting your time, asking too much? If you didn't like it, pick a different profession. What do you say to those folks?
You know, we tell people right now, I said, you know, really since 2013, the General Assembly has been making investments in corporate tax cuts over the public school classroom. We are urging the General Assembly to say, listen, you've got to start reinvesting. They listened to us, you know, when we marched here last year, and that's when we made changes in the General Assembly. So right now, we hear people, legislators saying on both sides of the aisle, let's talk about master's degree pay. Let's put that back in the budget. Let us talk about giving pay raises to our classified employees and to our classroom teachers. Let's talk about expanding Medicaid. So those conversations are happening right now. So we just need to make sure that they come out when we pass the budget in June or July of 2019. So this is really just the beginning of a very long process.
Mark, appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you covering the story. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much.
So again, down here at Halifax Mall, that's just kind of just a general lay of the land for what we're experiencing down here. Still thousands of folks from across the state, and at last check, we had just about 34 school districts across the state cancel their classes today. So teachers, support staff, educators, well-wishers could come down here and participate here in this rally. So roughly in about 15 minutes or so, we'll still find folks from the different regions go inside the General Assembly, where they actually already are, and meet with their elected officials and be able to sit down with them one-on-one and lobby or push for some of the agenda that brought folks down here today. So again, just a sea of red down here on Halifax Mall in downtown Raleigh. And again, an educator from Asheville's on stage now, and directly behind her to take the stage should be former NAACP, North Carolina NAACP President, Reverend Dr. William Barber, will be addressing the crowd in just a few short moments. So we're going to continue walking around the crowd, chatting with folks, and getting another lay of the land, just kind of find out a little bit more about what's going on. But you are watching the ABC 11 Eyewitness News live feed of this teachers rally on Halifax Mall. We're going to go ahead and continue following the latest developments here and bring you the absolute latest once we find out everything that is going on. But for now, I'm Dewan Hogard, live right now in Halifax Mall in downtown Raleigh. ABC 11 Eyewitness News. Thanks for watching.
However, my government does not respect it and is not proud of me. Should my pay be based on luck? North Carolina, we can do better. To my colleagues, don't give up. Our students are worth everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. All right, here we go. Whose school? Our school. Whose voice? Our voice. Whose votes? Our votes. Can they take it away? No. Can they take it away? No. Excellent. All right, so here is the issue of our 5% pay increase for all, to include a $15 minimum wage for all of our support professionals. All right, family, we got work to do. Here we go. In the Senate, we have 17. How many more do we need? 9. How many more do we need? 9. In the House, we have 46. I know. Sit with it. We have 46. How many more do we need? How many more do we need? 15. We need 15 for 15. All right, y'all hear that? 15 for 15. All right, so we have coming to the stage from Asheville City. Shout out Western North Carolina. We have teacher assistant Keena Proctor.
Hello out there. How are you all today? I love this sea of red. I just want you to think about something for a few minutes. Can you believe that I have been at my school longer than anyone? Can you believe that I have survived 4 principals and 6 assistant principals? But just think about it. Can you believe that this week right here, I was spit on. I got kicked and had to chase a child around the school. But the next morning, when they came back to me for some love, I gave them all the love that they needed. Can you believe that I have taught for 26 years, but I only make $12.47? Think about that. 26 years and I only make $12.47 an hour. Can you believe that I was told, well, we can pay you your worth, but you're going to have to leave for 6 months and then come back. But you're not guaranteed a job when you come back. But my question is, well, who is going to pay my bills? Who is going to pay my bills for those 6 months? Can you believe that yesterday I turned 51, but I am still living home with my parents because I cannot afford to live by myself? I have proven myself to this state for 26 years. You have proven yourself for all the years that you have educated these wonderful children. But are you paid? No. Are you worth it? Yes, I'm worth it. But I'm going to tell you something. I don't need the $15 because I'm worth more. I have been here for 26 years. I am worth more than $15 an hour. I have grown past the $15 an hour. You have gone past your 5%. No, you're past that right now. You need to go on up. You need to move it on up a little bit more. So I'm asking you all, we love these children. My children are my heart. I don't have children of my own. So I got 17 little babies that I see every day. I take their problems with me when I leave, and I deal with the problems when I come back. But these are my children. But I think I am worth it. You are worth it. You are a custodian. You mop them floors every day. You're worth it. You are an assistant. You wipe them noses every day. You are worth it. You are a cafeteria worker. You feed them children every day. You are worth it. You are worth it. So continue to fight. We will continue to fight this race.
Y'all better give Keena some love. Y'all better give that girl some love. Are you worth it? Are we worth it? Are our kids worth it? Amen. 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 Touch and agree with somebody. Amen. All right. Amen. All right, so we are now +1 on everything in the house. You better keep doing it. You better call, you better tweet, you better text, you better email, you better knock on some doors, you better go to some people's houses. You better go to a town hall and tell your legislator that these are not 5 maybes. These are not 5s, well, we might. These are 5 things we need right now. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we have welcoming back to the North Carolina General Assembly area, because you know he couldn't come back because he might bring a whole lot of people with him. Just saying. So we have Reverend Barber here today. You are going to be blessed and educated today. You're going to learn today. All right, but before that, we have Yara Allen from the Poor People's Campaign who is going to bless us with a song today. Because where words fail, music speaks, y'all. All right, here we go.
All right, so we're going to do this together, right? So I'm pretty sure they didn't think you were coming back again this year. But how about say this right here? We're back. Just like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved. Come on, lift your voices. We shall not be moved. That's it, over here. We shall not be moved. Oh, just like a tree planted by the water. What is it? I hear you singing behind me. Come on. We shall not be moved. We shall not. Oh, just like a tree planted by the water. We How about this right here? We're fighting for our rights and we're fighting for our rights and oh, just like a tree planted by the water, we oh, we can lift poor people. We can lift poor people. Oh, just like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We stand with educators. We shall not be moved. We stand with educators. Oh, just like a tree planted by the water. We Now let me hear you sing, we shall not be moved. Come on, lift your voice. I hear you, I hear you. We shall not be moved. Oh, just like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved.
Hello, everybody. Would you turn to your neighbor and say, this is not a fellowship. This is a fight. It is important that we understand why we're here. This looks like Moral Monday all over again. When I was in court the other day, they said they didn't want me to come, but it looks like they got a problem bigger than me. And I want to encourage you to understand that this must be more than a one-day effort. It is time to teach this legislature a lesson. Now, I want you to know that you are right morally. I come from a family of educators. The Poor People's Campaign in North Carolina and nationally, glad to be here, repairs of the breach. My mother is the longest living active support worker in Washington County. Her and my father helped integrate the public school system. You are right to do what you're doing morally. The founding father, John Adams, said that laws for liberal education of youth, especially of the lower class people, are so extremely wise and useful that to a humane and generous mind, no expense for this purpose would be thought too extravagant. Another writer said a good teacher can inspire hope, ignite imagination, and instill a love of learning. President Obama said that when it comes to developing the high standards we need, it is time to stop working against our teachers and work with them. If we invest in our teachers and our children, they will all succeed. Coretta Scott King said, denying funding for education is a form of political violence. And so, my friends, you are right morally to be here. But not only are you right morally to be here, you are right constitutionally to be here. Our Constitution that every one of them swore to uphold says we hold it to be self-evident that all persons are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, the enjoyment of the fruit of their own labor, and the pursuit of happiness. The Constitution says all political power is vested in and derived from the people, and it should be only used for the good of the whole. When you hurt teachers, when you deny health care, when you refuse to pay workers $15 in a union, it is against the good of the whole. Mr. President, Mr. Director, it is right for us to be here constitutionally. It also says the people have a right to assemble, to consult for the common good, and watch this, to teach their representatives, to instruct their representative. And then it says, but secret political societies are dangerous to the liberties of a free people. In other words, you tell your neighbor, you have a right. We have a right to teach them. But it is illegal for them to meet with the lobbyists behind the doors and work against us. It's time to teach them a lesson. Article 1, Section 15 says the people have a right, not just children, but the people have a right to the privilege of education. And it is the duty of the state to guard and maintain that right. In other words, the legislature under the current majority is not guarding and not maintaining the right. So we are constitutionally right for protesting here. Section 4. Article 11, Section 4 said beneficent provision for the poor, the unfortunate, and the orphan is the first duty, not the second, third, but the first duty of a civilized state. That means when this legislature doesn't take care of children, does not care for the working poor and the poor, then they are acting uncivilized. And so we've come together here, Vicky, because it's time to teach them a lesson. The things they are doing is constitutionally inconsistent, morally indefensible, and economically and educationally insane. But not only are you right to be here constitutionally and right to be here morally, you're right to be here biblically. Most of these legislators claim to be Christian, but Jesus said you can talk about it and still not be about it. Because to be a Christian or a people of faith is to first focus on love and justice and care for the poor and pay people what they deserve and put children first. The Bible says it would be better for you to tie a millstone around your neck and be thrown in the uttermost parts of the sea than to offend one of our little ones. The Bible says you're to care for the sick and the stranger. Isaiah 10 says, woe unto those who legislate evil and rob the poor of their rights and make women and children their prey. Jesus said, preach good news to the poor. And all of the policies, this General Assembly under the current leadership, they have failed on all counts. And that's why I tell your neighbor, say, we have come to teach them a lesson. The leadership in this General Assembly, and my friends, it's not just about party alone, because we have had Republicans that led this state right before. Abraham Galloway, J.W. Hood were the two black founding fathers of Lincoln Republicans in North Carolina in the 1800s. They were the ones that helped write the Constitution and guaranteed a public education for every person. Helen Edmonds of North Carolina Central University was a Republican and a great professor. Governor Holshouser was a Republican and supported great funding for education. Even President Eisenhower, who was a Republican, said education and funding it was essential to national security. The leadership of this General Assembly, Moore, Berger, and Tillis before them, are not Lincoln Republicans. They are not true Republicans. They are regressive extremists that have hijacked the Republican Party. This crowd, first under the leadership of Tillis, then Burgess and Moore, they got into office through an election using unconstitutional gerrymandering and racist voter suppression. And let me say to the teachers, if y'all don't add that one to your fifth one, you really aren't not understanding the problem. All of us must be against racial gerrymandering and racist voter suppression. Because if it wasn't for those things, they wouldn't be in office in the first place. I wish I had a witness here. More people voted for a progressive vision than a regressive vision. But because of voter suppression and racist gerrymandering, that is how they got into office. Don't take my word for it, take the court's word. Court after court has proven that the Russians didn't rig the elections in North Carolina, but racist voter suppression and gerrymandering did. And because of it, look at what we have now. Let me also say that when the Democrats were in office, they too never fully complied with the Leandro decision. Oh, I come to tell the truth today. They never themselves addressed resegregation and high poverty schools. They didn't give teachers what they should have either. So I say to the Democrats, if you get back in office, you better do right when you get back. But let me talk about the current leadership. They have argued they didn't have the money. They don't have the money. But any argument about not having the money is a lie. This legislature spent over $6 million of your dollars and counting to defend racist voter suppression. And they lost. I know, because the North Carolina NAACP sued them and beat them. This legislature under McCrory and Art Pope, they awarded the greed of their rich friends with unnecessary tax cuts and did not take care of the need of teachers, support staff, and those that are in need. So any claim that they don't have the money, if I was a cussing man, I'd say it, but I ain't gonna say it, is a lie. The same legislators who call themselves Republican, but are really regressive extremists, It's time to teach them a lesson that when you cheat your way to get into office and lie about not having money, the money of the people, then the people will get in the courts, get in the streets, get in the ballot box, and we will fight back. Now, as I close, yesterday they made a proposal meant to fool the public and to ease the protest. You better watch these folk. I heard them announce some numbers saying you got this. You don't know what you got. They'll tell you they with you today. And when you're gone, they'll leave tomorrow. That's why you're going to have to keep this up. And yesterday they put something so the media would, print it. But first of all, it's an insult for on the eve of your protest for them to throw a little something at you, trying to shut down the protest. It's an insult to make people have to shut down school systems and get in the street for their legislatures just to turn a little bit in the right direction. The rich lobbyists don't have to get in the street. Secondly, it's a proposal. It's nothing else. Nothing has been passed. We don't know where the money may come from for a little piece. Or we don't know what schemes they are playing because you can't trust them. In one state, when the teachers marched, the regressive legislature and governors offered them a raise. But then when they got in the inside, they said it would come from the monies that supported programs for the poor. So the teachers said no, because they wanted to pit them against each other. Third, somebody say third, they proposed something for the teachers and not on the other issues. Why? Because they are trying to split this coalition and this moral fusion. They never thought they would see the day that public school teachers would also be fighting for Medicaid expansion. You hear what I'm saying? They never thought they would see the day in North Carolina that public school teachers, white and black and brown and yellow and young and gay and straight and old, would fight. Would fight for 15 and a union. But somebody shout, they are not going to play us against one another. See what they were trying to do? They're going to pay the teachers a little and really restore what they should have never taken in the first place. And that's not a raise. When you take it and then give me back what I should have had in the first place, that ain't a raise. They call that 3-card Molly. That ain't a raise. But they gave you a little bit, and then they want to pit us against us and think you're going to give up on the other demands. But you as teachers know that's like a student turning in half of assignment and then wanting an A for it. What they're trying to do is split you. Grab your neighbor's hand and say, ain't no splitting going on here. Tell them, say, all for one and one for all. Yeah. And finally, since they have had a majority under Tillis first and then Berger and Moore, they have attacked teachers and public education. But not only that, the same legislature, the same group that have attacked teachers and students and support group, they have attacked the 2 million poor and working poor in this state. They've attacked the 1,000 workers who don't have 15 and a union. They have attacked the 500,000 without health insurance because of the lack of Medicaid expansion. They got in through office through racist voter suppression. But the strange thing is, even though they got in based on racist voter suppression, most of the bills that they have passed have hurt mostly white folk. They don't want you to know that either. Huh? They played the race card to get in office. But the majority of the people that don't get Medicaid expansion are white. The majority of the people that are poor are white. The majority of people working for less than 15 are white. It's an old game in the South. You play the race card to split black and white and brown people from each other, because if black and white and brown people come together, then the extremists can't win. I stopped by to say, if they are sinister enough to be together, we ought to be smart enough to stay together. And so we got to teach them a lesson. And here is the lesson. If you mess with teachers and you mess with support staff and those who work for less than 15 in a union and those who have need of Medicaid expansion, you've gone too far. We must teach them a lesson. If you seek to divide us and play games with us, it'll only bring us closer together. We must teach them a lesson. If it means protesting in the street, if it means protesting in the legislature, if it means some of us going to jail, and if you don't get the lesson that way, we will organize, turn out the vote, put you on recess, and vote your hindparts out of office. Hey, 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 because together we will win for our teachers and our children and our support system. Together we will get 15 in a union. Together we will not only expand Medicaid, we'll get health care for all. Together we will turn North Carolina around. Together we'll somehow stay together and fight. Together, 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 we will end racist voter suppression. Together, together, we will stick together. Together, together, justice will roll down like righteousness. Together, together, we will lift all North Carolinians. Together, together, from the mountains to the coast, to the sand hills, to the Piedmont, to the Triad. Together, 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 when we all get together. What a day! What a day! What a day! What a day!
I believe that we will win! 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 I believe that we will win!
All right. You've been listening to the Reverend William Barber, formerly of the North Carolina NAACP, the president, now leading the Poor People's Campaign, giving a rousing address to the crowd there. This is a live look at Halifax Mall in downtown Raleigh, where teachers have gathered for the second rally that they've had to address the legislature.
We've had a list of speakers this afternoon as they gathered. A lot of teachers, advocates, people who support teachers have been gathering here at Halifax Mall. We had the governor speak. We also had the president of the NCAE speak, talking about a number of issues, not just an increase in teacher pay, but also resources and technology for the classroom and Medicaid expansion. And in some cases, they want Medicaid for all. And you're seeing a live picture from the ground. We have a team of reporters throughout the downtown area, also Chopper 11 HD over Halifax Mall, and you can see the crowd gathered around the tent where the speeches are being held.
I think they have one more speaker on the agenda, but they were having some audio issues, as you heard. Several goals of this rally: more support staff, Medicaid expansion, $15 minimum wage for their support staff, at least $15, reinstate retirement health benefits for educators, and restore advanced degree compensation.
All right, and we think that there is one more speaker in this rally. We're going to take a quick break and come back and bring you more from today's teacher rally here in downtown Raleigh. You're watching Eyewitness News.